You always say that you got to lose in order to understand how to win. I do agree with that. I think there are lessons in loss and in failure, both as a team and as an individual. If I had my preference, I would have liked to have learned those lessons while I was winning, but unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. But I look back at it now and just think about how grateful I am for all the lessons in wins and the losses, because it really ends up defining who you are as a person and as a player.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. New York Islanders face the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Islanders on XM 219, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. Flyers on XM 220, Internet 940. Canadiens on Internet 934. Minnesota Wild face the Anaheim Ducks at 8 p.m. Wild on XM 222, Internet 933. Ducks on Internet 920. Calgary Flames take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 923. Avalanche on Internet 926. Utah Mammoth face the Winnipeg Jets at 9 p.m. Mammoth on XM 223, Internet 947. Jets on Internet 951. St. Louis Blues face the Pittsburgh Penguins at 9:30 p.m. Blues on XM 201, Internet 944. Penguins on Internet 941. Vancouver Canucks take on the LA Kings at 10 p.m. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948. Kings on Internet 932. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers, Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on the morning skate for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 to discuss the pressures of Game 7 after having played in 9 Game 7s himself, winning 7 of them, and how you can either thrive under pressure or crumble underneath it.
I almost look at Game 7s, Mark, like I do overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs or overtime in any sporting event where you've got so much pressure on you and every play gets magnified. Could you, during the course of your career, and you don't have to name names, but could you look around the dressing room or could you look on the opposing bench and could you figure out those that wanted to be the hero and those that just wanted to avoid making the mistake? I mean, was that plain for you to see that there were those that wanted the puck on their stick with the game on the line that could thrive under pressure, and then you had the opposite as well?
I felt myself in those moments there defaulting to the more defensive side of the game. And then I played with my right winger who I won 6 Stanley Cups with, Glenn Anderson. He was the kind of guy that was trying to, really drive hard offensively and take the game and try to score the winning goal. And we're on the same line. Maybe that the difference of us in our mentalities worked perfectly. But everybody's wired different. Everybody's got fear, failure. The best have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to internalize those feelings, but you can't let them paralyze you. And it's for me, going into a Game 7, I allowed myself to visualize what if we didn't win, leading up to the game, and then slowly as you get closer to the game, you're allowed you allow yourself to kind of push the negative feelings aside, and you start to fill yourself up with all the great things that are going to happen and what you need to do to execute the game plan. And of course, ultimately to seeing yourself, holding the trophy. And as a game starts, all the negative and the positive go away. And then you drill yourself down into, just executing the game plan. And you don't think about the what ifs and what should have been or what could have been. You just really kind of play in the moment. And I think trust becomes a massive word when you think about it. Can I trust each one of the players that are going out there to not only to do their part from a strategic standpoint, be in the right position, be in the right places at the right time, but not get undisciplined and take poor penalties at the wrong time because their ego is bruised and someone took advantage of them, then being able to hold all that in check. So there's just so many dynamics to think about for a team in order to overcome all the obstacles to win a championship. And it's fascinating to me. It's one of the reasons I was able to play 26 years, because once you do it, you understand how fun it is, but also how complicated and intricate it is to kind of get not only the team from a physical standpoint to come together, but how a team comes together emotionally, mentally, and the spirituality around a team and the respect that lives inside that locker room is incredible.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. New York Islanders face the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Islanders on XM 219, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. Flyers on XM 220, Internet 940. Canadiens on Internet 934. Minnesota Wild face the Anaheim Ducks at 8 p.m. Wild on XM 222, Internet 933. Ducks on Internet 920. Calgary Flames take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 923. Avalanche on Internet 926. Utah Mammoth face the Winnipeg Jets at 9 p.m. Mammoth on XM 223, Internet 947. Jets on Internet 951. St. Louis Blues face the Pittsburgh Penguins at 9:30 p.m. Blues on XM 201, Internet 944. Penguins on Internet 941. Vancouver Canucks take on the LA Kings at 10 p.m. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948. Kings on Internet 932. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio. SiriusXM 86.
Tampa Bay Lightning head coach John Cooper stopped by for a morning skate with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 91 to talk the keys to his success over the years and the challenge of getting to the Stanley Cup Final 3 years in a row.
John, I'm going to ask you to be a little bit self-analytical and, being in the business that you're in and knowing how successful you've been and what drives you and motivates you. What do you think has been the key to your success over the years? I mean, every league you've been in, you've won, you've had the staying power, and you've had all kinds of championship pedigree. If you say, hey, look, I'm still going strong, I'm still chasing another ring, what is it that keeps you going, and what is it in particular that you feel has made you as successful as you've been?
I would say there's a couple things. Internally, it's the fire is still burning. As I think that first and foremost is the biggest thing, because when you lose your passion for it and I've watched it happen to people, then you might as well you should get yourself out, because you're just doing yourself and your team a disservice. So that passion is first and foremost the big thing. I would sit here say on the other side of things, like Jeff Vinik as an owner, and it kind of goes back to the previous question about stability. And that's one of the things we've had. And so Julien BriseBois was my general manager in the minors and now the NHL. So we've been together for how many years? We had Steve Yzerman in the early part of that, and he kind of was like the mentor. He was the actual one that brought me in, but we've had that stability. Only 2 GMs, but both of them work together. We've had one owner, one coach, basically, since I've been there, one captain, and it's this core group of guys that have all stuck together. And I think we've kind of, I don't know how to explain it, you've kind of passed the coach-player relationship because we've been there so long, and we all just have this common goal of what we need to do. And there's a lot of pride, a lot of passion with the group of guys we have, and then Julien's done a great job of kind of filling in. And when I say fill in, it's like getting the Nick Pauls, getting the Brandon Hagels, guys that are still long-term guys but that weren't, pseudo-drafted into our system. And it's, we've been really fortunate that it's worked out the way it has. But I truly believe the stability, the belief, and the passion of the same group of people that have been together, and that's what's really helped us. It takes its toll, both physically and mentally, and I give our players credit, to come back and make the playoffs the next year. But, now we've been one and done for 2 years. We've had some breaks. We've had a little bit of turnover, and we need to get back. We need to get back to those, making some runs in the playoffs. And but I will sit here and say, I'd be remiss to say, those years, they do take a toll, and maybe it has taken a toll in the last, couple of years on us. And but I can tell now that, a couple of years of being bounced in the first round, it's just a different vibe coming in, especially this year of seeing all the players. And there's an energy I haven't felt in a while, and I think part of that is because we have been bounced, in the last 2 years.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to
Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM Channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. New York Islanders face the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Islanders on XM 219, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. Flyers on XM 220, Internet 940. Canadiens on Internet 934. Minnesota Wild face the Anaheim Ducks at 8 p.m. Wild on XM 222, Internet 933. Ducks on Internet 920. Calgary Flames take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. Flames on Sirius XM Channels 167, Internet 923. Avalanche on Internet 926. Utah Mammoth face the Winnipeg Jets at 9 p.m. Mammoth on XM 223, Internet 947. Jets on Internet 951. St. Louis Blues face the Pittsburgh Penguins at 9:30 p.m. Blues on XM 201, Internet 944. Penguins on Internet 941. Vancouver Canucks take on the LA Kings at 10 p.m. Canucks on Sirius XM Channels 91, Internet 948. Kings on Internet 932. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM Channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
Iron Mike Keenan, former NHL head coach, came on the morning skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91. He was on to promote his new book, Iron Mike, My Life Behind the Bench, and he took some time to talk about his career, specifically the regrets and the influences.
When you get a chance to sit down now and you think back on all these times, any regrets?
Yeah, of course you have regrets. I had the heat turned up quite a bit at my own distraction, so I could have, and I evolved, and even Greg, you just mentioned Greg Gilbert. He said, Mike, you're completely different here in New York than you were in Chicago. So you learn from your own mistakes, and for some reason I was so driven. I took it personally if we lost, personally, and I was miserable. And I could have probably managed the principles of my coaching career and what I thought was important, that I would always stay intact with those. But the methodology could have been turned down a bit and probably
A little too intense?
A little bit smoother.
A little too intense?
At times,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Now, big names, Scotty Bowman, Roger Nielsen, Tom Watt. I mean, I don't know, mentors, friends. How did they all influence Mike Keenan?
Well, first of all, I played for Tom at University of Toronto, and then we developed a close relationship, and I would talk to him a lot about coaching. Now I'm in Peterborough. He'd come and see me, and we developed sort of a minor league team for him, because the guys that couldn't play for U of T right away, like Mike Polino, come out to play with me in Oshawa. And so we developed a relationship that way. But we talked a lot about hockey. He taught me more about hockey than anybody else. And then Roger and I have a relationship through Peterborough. We're getting now into the sort of the technical part of video replay and how that. And then I got Scotty Bowman, the greatest ever. He hires me for the first time, probably saw a little bit of himself in me, and he's calling me in the middle of the night after every game. He drives home from Rochester, and at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm not exaggerating, sometimes an hour conversation in the middle of the night. Why did you put Bob Mongrain on the penalty killing at that time? Like, okay, Scotty. But he was just, and he would test me all the time, and I just give him a firm belief in what I thought was right, and he respected that. So it was interesting to, and then we became friends over the years. It was a real 3 guys that really influenced my career.
That was Iron Mike Keenan, former NHL head coach and author of Iron Mike, My Life Behind the Bench. He was in conversation with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for the Morning Skate on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. New York Islanders face the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Islanders on XM 219, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. Flyers on XM 220, Internet 940. Canadiens on Internet 934. Minnesota Wild face the Anaheim Ducks at 8 p.m. Wild on XM222 Internet 933. Ducks on Internet 920. Calgary Flames take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167 Internet 923. Avalanche on Internet 926. Utah Mammoth face the Winnipeg Jets at 9 p.m. Mammoth on XM223 Internet 947. Jets on Internet 951. St. Louis Blues face the Pittsburgh Penguins at 9:30 p.m. Blues on XM201 Internet 944. Penguins on Internet 941. Vancouver Canucks take on the LA Kings at 10 p.m. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 948. Kings on Internet 932. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM221 Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live, hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
Former NHL head coach Iron Mike Keenan came on the morning skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, and he was asked about the long Alexei Kovalev shift during his time in New York, and he shared his side of the story about the skilled offensive talent that was Kovalev.
The Alexei Kovalev shift. I've heard 7 minutes. I've heard 9 minutes. Hey, you stay out there. You kind of figure it out. Describe to us what went into that. How long was a shift? Certainly Kovalev was a talent, that's for sure, but he was a bit of an enigma.
Super talent.
Yes.
And talented people sometimes are elusive. And Alex, I try to explain to him, you're getting 20 minutes, and I don't want the shifts to be 1 minute, so you have 20 shifts. I'm going to give you 40 shifts at 30 seconds so you can build the intensity up. Understand? Yeah, I understand, Mike. Goes out there. Of course, it's a minute and a half. I said, now, Alex, the guy that's supposed to be playing behind you just missed his shift because now we're going to the next rotation. You're out there for 2 rotations. Okay, Michael. So, again, next thing, does it again. So I said, oh, my God. So I said, okay, guys, this time when he comes back to the bench, it's now going to overextend his shift. He's going to be a little tired. Don't open the doors. He comes over and I said, get out. He thinks I love him now. Get back out there, I said. So then he comes over again. And now I said, guys, he's going to want to climb into the bench because he's done. I said, when he comes over, puts his leg up, push him back out. And they pushed him. But now they are laughing on the bench. This is in New York City. Rager in the game back there. So Alex figures it out. He scores a goal in the middle of this shift.
Wow.
He gets himself a rest. Stays out there. Finishes the period. So I think it's about 9 minutes. I walk off the bench. I said, Mess, explain it to him, will you, please? He said, I will. Don't worry. I'll look after it. So as a result, we fast forward now to the playoffs in Game 6, playing New Jersey. In the Jersey series, I double shifted him. When he had to come back, and he was electrifying. Mess got the 3 goals, but Alex was a horse. And it's very talented, powerful. And the problem was he was so efficient that he could stay out, but he didn't grasp the concept of just picking up the intensity. You could see him. He could dangle and hang onto the puck and nobody could take it from him. He was resting while he was out there. So
in essence, it was a bit of a training ground for what was to come against the Devils at the most important time.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it turned out to be a good lesson for him because that's what he did in that game. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I just said, Alex, I'm going to double shift you. Get ready. Don't be out too long.
That was former NHL head coach Iron Mike Keenan in conversation with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin for the Morning Skate on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950. New York Islanders face the Carolina Hurricanes at 7 p.m. Islanders on XM 219, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. Philadelphia Flyers take on the Montreal Canadiens at 7 p.m. Flyers on XM 220, Internet 940. Canadiens on Internet 934. Minnesota Wild face the Anaheim Ducks at 8 p.m. Wild on XM 222, Internet 933. Ducks on Internet 920. Calgary Flames take on the Colorado Avalanche at 9 p.m. Flames on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 923. Avalanche on Internet 926. Utah Mammoth face the Winnipeg Jets at 9 p.m. Mammoth on XM 223, Internet 947. Jets on Internet 951. St. Louis Blues face the Pittsburgh Penguins at 9:30 p.m. Blues on XM 201, Internet 944. Penguins on Internet 941. Vancouver Canucks take on the LA Kings at 10 p.m. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948. Kings on Internet 932. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, April the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, Boston Bruins take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Devils on Internet 936. Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. Jackets on XM 221, Internet 927. Capitals on Internet 950.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
Former Buffalo Sabres head coach Don Granato was on the Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to talk about how different today's athletes are, as well as what it's been like to watch Austin Matthews grow.
It's really a switch in the last 10 years. The first birth year I had at the national team program was 95 birth year. So it was JT Compher, Tyler Mott, that group. You have them for 2 years, so the next birth year coming in was the 97s, which was prolific. It was Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk and McAvoy and Hanifin and Werenski. And I remember talking to the coaches back then that this birth year is way different than the 95 birth year. And this summer, ironically, I picked up a book that titled The Anxious Generation. And I thought it was very well documented, and the author used the iPhone. And the iPhone came out in 2008 or 6, somewhere in that range. But social media didn't hit hard on the iPhone where you could rate a kid's looks if you're a high school student. And so judging other people on a social media app on the iPhone was about 2013. And so now you think about all these kids going to high school, and we never had this. They can be made fun of on social media. They don't even know it, and they're walking out of a classroom and people are laughing. Yeah. So it's a different world we all live in because we're all criticized and compared to more and faster. And with that, you need to balance that with support. And I think, lots of coaches that have gone that I watch around the league in the NHL, there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of good young coaches that are really good at that. The X's and O's, I say to people, are easy now. When the X's and O's are a very simple part of hockey. It's connecting with people and getting people motivated and excited. And that's changed dramatically. X's and O's became big when video hit the computer. You could watch 100 or 1,000 forechecks over and over and over and say, okay, these are the key components on a forecheck. And so, you didn't have to be in the NHL to become better at that. So that's the easy part. I just can't imagine doing this or that I did it. I called Brian Matthews one time in Austin's U17 year. And I said, Brian, I said, do you have any idea how good your son is? And his reply was no. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you, what is this conversation? And I had to explain to him, and I said, I think this is what's going to happen, Austin. I said, you honestly have to prepare for your life to become very chaotic and crazy. And lo and behold, he gets drafted in Toronto instead of some different market. And we know how crazy it can be here.
Oh yeah.
But and then the last thing I'll say on it is I remember leading up to the draft, lots of people said, can he handle Toronto? And I thought, absolutely, no problem. And the biggest thing for me is when a young player comes in the league, and we talked about earlier, if they're a -2 or -3 and they have a really tough night, you get to know how they're going to respond. And some that breaks their confidence, and maybe they need a stint in the AHL. You got to get them out of the pressure. Mm-hmm. But Austin was so good that if that happened, and when it's happened in his career, it doesn't hurt his confidence. He knows that he's in that category of player that I know I can redeem myself just get me to the next game now. And they can do, the best players can do that. And that's a different echelon of player at the NHL level that can do that. So if you look at the top players in the NHL, their confidence is not going to break. The guys right under that, they have a bad night. They may not want that next game.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trapp.
Hard-hitting commentary on what is and absolutely is not an acceptable topping to put on a cheeseburger. Whether it's 4 minutes or 4 hours, it's the best way to spend a part of your morning. The Morning Show with McKenna and Starr. Weekdays starting at 6, TSN 690.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
One season ago, Game 82 was all the difference for the Montreal Canadiens when it came to qualifying for the Stanley Cup playoffs. This season, the only difference it makes is where we start, either Montreal or Tampa Bay on the weekend. With a 4-1 win in Long Island, the Habs have given themselves a shot at home ice advantage, but they'll need a win tonight to keep those hopes alive as they close out their regular season against the Philadelphia Flyers. It was the Flyers who just last night clinched the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and while they anticipate a first-round matchup against the Pittsburgh Penguins, it'll be an irregular squad for the Flyers in the season finale. It is the Montreal Canadiens versus Philadelphia Flyers coming up next to close out the regular season on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Skyscrapers at the city skyline. You can buy stocks, but you can't buy time. Rush hour, sour, better pick up the pace. Crowds in a bucket, rats in a race. Twist my arm, no one pulling your leg.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final regular season edition of Habs Hockey on TSN 690. Victor Finley alongside JP O'Connor. We have arrived at game number 82. This is, of course, not the end of the story for the Montreal Canadiens, But it is the end of the chapter that is the regular season. And tonight, JP, they will get the Philadelphia Flyers in a game that means nothing for Philly while the Habs are still playing for home ice advantage in round number 1.
When Tyson Forster comes back into the lineup for Philadelphia, and he bags the shootout winner against Carolina last night that allows the Philadelphia Flyers to punch their ticket to the playoffs for the first time since the 2020 season. You would expect some kind of letdown from Philadelphia as they were riding an emotional high over that win last night, but they'll get an injection of youth as head coach Rick Tocchet looks to shake that lineup up, get some guys out, get some well-deserved rest for Philly as they look to make a push against the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. Montreal is going to have to be sharp. There's still quite a bit to play for Montreal. I think they can obviously need a little bit of help, but they can clinch home ice. But there's also some individual records out that I think are worth looking at for the Canadiens.
So it'll be a bit of a different lineup for the Habs. They're resting some players, though not nearly as many as Philly. We'll get into all that here in a moment with the lineups and how they're looking tonight. But first, we will send you out to the city of brotherly love at Xfinity Mobile Arena for the national anthems.
As we ask all military veterans to render a hand salute to our flag, please welcome the number 1 ranked member in the NHL, our very own Lauren Hart, accompanied by organist Michael Brinkworth, as she sings "O Canada" and the Star Spangled Banner.
Our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we seemly rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, final stop for the Montreal Canadiens in the 2025-26 regular season. Habs have a sparkling road record this year at 24-8-8. 48, 23, and 10 on the year. 106 points. Trying to leapfrog the Tampa Bay Lightning for second place in the Atlantic Division with a win tonight, although the Lightning can answer back tomorrow. Flyers with a record of 42, 27, and 12 just clinched playoff eligibility last night as they will go to Sam Ersson between the pipes this evening versus Montreal. 32 games, 315 goals against, 867 save percentage. Has been a tough year for Ersson with the Flyers between the pipes as the Montreal Canadiens go back to Jakub Domic, who will get his 43rd game in of the year tonight. He's looking to rebound after allowing 5 goals in that loss to Columbus on Saturday night. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Juraj Slafkovsky will get the start at center for the Montreal Canadiens. Noah Cates on the ice with Tyson Forster and Matvei Michkov for the Philadelphia Flyers, as this is a very different Flyers squad, as here come the Habs right in off the draw. Suzuki tried to center for Slafkovsky. Goes around behind the Flyer net. Habs moving from left to right this evening. Here's a long shot for the line. First save of the game is made by Ersson. He will cover up.
Now we might have a penalty here. It looks like Cole Caulfield has taken a high stick in the face as he was following in on the shot from Gooley. We'll see if the referee makes a call here, but you can see him right away as he's pointing to Caulfield. Caulfield obviously looking for another goal as he tries to track down Nathan MacKinnon at 52. And you can tell by the boos, Victor, that this is going to be a Montreal Canadiens power play early on.
Nick Seeler's going to the box. Habs power play is presented by Ford of Canada, official partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Canadiens 1 for 2 against the Islanders on Sunday. Philadelphia special teams have not been good at all this season. Penalty kill has been slightly better than the power play, but only just 77.3%, 24th overall in the league.
Habs win the faceoff. Slafkovsky down low. Tried to sweep that right to Caulfield, but stolen by the Flyers and launched all the way down the ice. Demidov at center drops it back. Canadiens ahead of the neutral zone. Suzuki off to Ivan Demidov. Suzuki behind the Flyer net. Tried to dish it off to Caulfield. Back out in front, Sam Ersson gets his paddle down. Habs stay with it as the puck stays loose right side. Hudson up top, over to Suzuki. Down low, Caulfield shot. That's stopped by Ersson, and the puck ends up out of play with 1:18 still to go on the power play.
A couple early looks for Cole Caulfield coming off of the goal line. We know how much he likes to go to that short side, and Ersson was ready for it. Caulfield keeps the puck alive, gets it back over to the sidewall for Demidov, who feeds it up to the point. The puck comes right back in, and Ersson has to be sharp early on as the Montreal Canadiens will make a change. First power play will come off the ice. Group number 2 will finish it off.
D-zone face-off win for Philadelphia, and Oliver Bach, who's out there for his first shift in the NHL. It'll be shorthanded, tried to clear. Picked up, though, by Kirby Dach. He'll feed the point for Adam Engstrom, who's getting power play time on the second unit. Engstrom over to Zach Bolduc, right side, fires a shot. That's a hard block. As that was Garnet Hathaway who took the brunt of that. Here's Engstrom, right side. Another try for Texier as he hammers that high of the mark. Puck bouncing around for Philly, and Luke Glendenning's able to clear it. And Dobish quickly moves it ahead to center. In comes Alexandre Texier. Back out through center into the Montreal zone it goes. 27 seconds left in the 5-on-4. Adam Engstrom handles it behind his own net. He'll drop it off at his own line. New hook over to Struble. Played into the Flyer zone. Struble and Jackeye out there on the power plays. Texier, near side corner. Back to Jackeye. Over to Struble. Left side, power play comes to an end. Habs are 0 for 1. No score yet. 17:37 to go in this first period of play. Noah Juleson, the former Hab, behind the Flyer net. Fires it around the far side. Picked off by Montreal and spun right back around. Emil Andre takes a stab at it. It's taken, though, by Jake Evans. Back in front toward Gallagher, who's back in the lineup tonight. Out there with Jake Evans here for the moment. As it goes back to the line, Struble fans on it. And that allows Carl Grundstrom to work it down ice for the Flyers and launches a shot high of the Montreal net. Far side, Denver Barkey off the boards. First time the Canadians have seen him. Played in junior with the London Knights and is enjoying his first year as a pro with the Philadelphia Flyers. As a loose puck in front of the Montreal net is taken by Jack Eye. Thrown out to center ice. Gallagher bothered, knocked off the puck. Here's Alex Bump with a wrister, and he sails that one wide. Back around to the near side it comes for Bump, who's also playing in his first game against Montreal today. As the Habs fly it out to center. This is game number 17 on the year for Alex Bump, who is a product of Western Michigan University. As the Flyers come up the far side into the Montreal zone, rolled inside of the net, and Dobish will hang on to that. So, JP, since we're talking about some of the youngsters in the lineup, we'll address who is out today for Philly. No Couturier, no Ristolainen, no Sanheim, Dvorak, Vladar, Konechny, Tippett, Zegras, York, Drysdale, and Nikita Grabyakin, as well as Rodrigo Abels, are both injured.
Everybody out, and almost another injury. We'll take a look to see if Garnet Hathaway comes back, as he took a heavy one-timer from Texier in the middle of the body. Not sure if it hit his hand or caught him in the waist, but very slow getting back to his feet as he blocks that shot coming in the power play.
Breakaway for the Flyers. Michkov moves in, and a big pad stop from Jakub Dobish. 4 minutes into the first period. Matvei Michkov looking for his 20th of the year. And here he comes again, in on the left side for Philly. He'll throw it around the boards. Far side caught by Glendening. Back down low to Michkov, who's roughed up along the boards by Adam Engstrom. Now Glendening right side. Throws it back down low. It's corralled by Michkov. Shields the puck away from Cole Caulfield. As the puck spills loose for Juraj Slafkovsky, and he's going to hoist it out to center. Taken away by Emil Andre for Philly. Now ahead for Garrett Wilson. As he'll play it in behind the Montreal net, comes all the way around. Near side boards. Hunter McDonald pinching in. He's making his NHL debut tonight for Philadelphia on the back end. Big blue liner out of Fairport, New York. Stands at 6'4", 235 pounds. Here goes Caulfield, rather check that, Demidov to center. He'll play it in behind the Flyer net. Alexandre Texier spins it around to the near side. Demidov is on it, drops it off. Newhook down low, wanted Texier and missed. Now Texier pressured by McDonald. Centers, but Carl Grundstrom is there waiting for it as it comes all the way out to center. 14-16 to go in the first. No score yet. Habs had a power play. Flyers had a breakaway. But we stay tied at 0.
Good work down low by the Newhook line as they make a change. Canadians regrouping in their own zone.
Here goes Porter Martone for Philadelphia. Again, the first time the Habs have seen him. Coming off a big season at Michigan State University, he has been very productive for Philly to start his NHL career. As Kirby Dach comes ahead to center. He'll drop it off for Oliver Kapanen. Back to the Flyer line. Here's Reinbacher right side. That's kicked away by Bolduc toward the corner where David Jiricek picks it up. Flyers come out to center. Jiricek is making his Flyer debut tonight. He was acquired at the deadline for Minnesota in the Bobby Brink deal, and Jiricek a few years ago in 2022 was the 6th overall pick to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You gotta figure things have to turn around for Jiricek.
Here goes Veleno speeding into the Flyer zone. So Veleno back in the lineup tonight. Jake Evans right side, Flyer territory, bouncing puck. Noah Cates trying to swat it away. It goes around for Gallagher. And he's stripped of it by Tyson Forster, who's going to lift that up and off the boards out through center. And that will go for an icing. So we mentioned who's out for Philly. Now we'll get to Montreal. Of course, you already know Noah Dobson, Alexander Carrier, both injured, as is, of course, Patrick Laine. No Sam Montembeault, but no Josh Anderson, Mike Matheson, and Philip Deneau. Trio of vets who all get some time off tonight.
Well, I think as you take a look at Dobson out of the lineup, that's a huge loss for Montreal as they get ready to start the playoff season. But Mike Matheson is going to have to take on a lot more, and I think it's probably a pretty wise idea that he gets a bit of a breather this evening.
D-zone face-off for the Flyers. It's taken by Montreal behind the net. Slavkovsky passed off to Caulfield, who couldn't squeeze that in on the short side, and Sam Ersson hangs on for the stoppage. 12:48 to go in the first. We're going to take our first break in a scoreless game on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
For 60 years, Delmar has delivered excellence. Strikes, delays, tariffs, challenge accepted. With global reach, smart tech, and supply chain mavens, Delmar's proactive approach ensures your cargo keeps moving. DelmarCargo.com. Logistics made simple.
We all have the same goal, to be environmentally responsible. That's why Rio Tinto and the Montreal Canadiens are teaming up. We're replacing 1.5 million single-use plastic cups at the Bell Center with cups made with infinitely recyclable aluminum from Quebec. And the low-carbon aluminum we use for the cups is made by Rio Tinto right here in Quebec. It's a sustainability slapshot. To learn more, go to riotinto.com.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
The first period is presented by KFC. Don't miss our game day deal. Get a $5.95 famous chicken sandwich every time the Montreal Canadiens play. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
12:48 to go in the first between Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens. Habs with an early shot advantage, 5-2. As Cole Caulfield, JP, who has noted, he's got 4 shots. He's credited for 4 of the 5 Montreal shots already.
We had a couple on the power play, and on that last sequence, just before we cut away for commercial, he had a nice pass dealt back to him from Juraj Slavkovsky, but we're so used to seeing Caulfield with a right-hand shot coming on the left-hand side of the ice. It's a little bit easier for him, but a very, very tight angle as he's trying to slide one past Ersson high, and he actually tried to bank that in. But Ersson has had his fair share of Cole Caulfield already through the first 8 minutes of the game.
Montreal on it in their own zone. Caden Gooley passes ahead. Gooley did not take the morning skate today. As the Canadiens come into the Flyers zone, there was some speculation as to whether or not he would go tonight, but obviously he is in. As here goes Suzuki down the far side. Flyers zone, tried to set it up in front. Broken up and carried to center by Porter Martone. Martone skates it in. Drops off. Shot from bump. Goes astray. He's knocked down to the edge. There's going to be a penalty off of this. Hunter McDonald off at the line for Bonk. The two debutants on the same pairing for Philly is Michkov with a shot and he scores. Matvei Michkov with a shot. That took a deflection in front. Off the delayed penalty, the Flyers have made it 1-0.
Cole Caulfield was going to go off for an interference call. And it looks like that 6-man that jumps on allows Philadelphia to set things up. Matvei Michkov comes up by the blue line and he fires his puck in. I think it's going to be Martone who ends up getting this shot. Definitely takes a tip. And Martone looks like he's claiming it. It's been a busy start, his 9th game. That is already going to be point number 9 and goal number 4 for Porter Martone.
So Porter Martone, one of the first instances of an NHLer who has played both in the Ontario Hockey League and the NCAA. He was in the OHL with Sarnia and Brampton / Mississauga. And then Michigan State University this past year.
Are we going to start saying that a lot more, aren't we, Victor?
Of course, the eligibility rules changed not that long ago. As the Flyers carry into the Montreal zone, Shuck coming in as blocked. Martone was a 6th overall pick in 2025. He's a strapping young man at 6'3", 214 pounds, 19 years old, out of Peterborough, Ontario.
Well, one thing that will definitely have helped him playing at Michigan State this year will be the accent that they place on preparing you physically. Off the ice, their off-ice training is second to none.
Flyers in their own zone, up 1-0 here. Martone from Michkov, and Oliver Bonk, who's going to get his first NHL point in his first NHL game on the Martone goal. Flyers swatted in from center. Carl Grundstrom after it. Harassed by Kirby Dach. Adam Engstrom in to pick it up. Still tied up along the boards. Now Adam Engstrom with Jacob Gaucher, who's in for Philly tonight. A Longueuil native. Has not played in the NHL since the Flyers were at the Bell Center. All the way back in November.
His line mate there is Anthony Richard, as well as Montreal Canadiens and Laval Rocket fans will remember. 30-goal scorer with Laval.
Here comes Reinbacher to center. You know what the nickname now is for Anthony Richard in Philly? As the Canadians here working down low in the Flyer zone. We'll get to it in a second as Tyler Forster plays it all the way up to center. I was informed this morning they're now calling Anthony Richard the Socket Rocket, because of the ability to just plug him into the lineup.
How about that?
Which I think is a fantastic nickname.
That's clever. It's really clever.
Icing call here on Montreal.
Yeah,
the Socket Rocket.
I love it.
Anthony Richard.
He played in after he left Montreal's left the franchise. He ended up playing in Boston's franchise for a little while. I know that they really liked having him in Providence and coming down to play for Lehigh Valley. He's had another good season in Lehigh Valley, but the season that he had playing for Laval was a terrific year for the Rocket, and he ended up bagging 30 goals.
There's top 10 in AHL points that year. As the Flyers take it away in the Montreal zone, off the faceoff, back to the line. Bonk plays it all the way around the boards, out of the reach of Michkov. McDonald in to play it down the left side. Puck floats all the way back to the point. Oliver Bonk isn't there. He's got to retreat to center. And now wrapped up with Joe Veleno. They both go to the end boards. Comes back for Jack Guy, and he'll launch it wide of the net. Canadians move it around. Right side, Nick Suzuki. Back to Arbor. Jack Guy with a shot. That takes a deflection off a stick and out of play. With 9:06 to go in the first period, Porter Martone has made it a 1-0 lead for Philly on his 4th of the year on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
For the food contest at IGA. Win $50,000 in groceries and so much more. Buy a featured product in store and scan your Scene Plus card to enter. And download the IGA app and play the Power Play game daily. Tons of instant prizes worth over $100,000. IGA, the official grocer of the Montreal Canadiens. No purchase necessary. Participating stores only. Details and rules at IGA.ca and on the IGA app.
Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SR Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Canadiens Hockey is presented by SR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Back in Philadelphia, 9:06 to go in the first, 1-0 Flyers. Garnet Hathaway has gone down the tunnel, and that's not a surprise, JP, given how we saw him react to blocking that shot on the first power play of the night for Montreal.
Well, that would be the hesitation that you would have in what is kind of a meaningless game for Philadelphia is having players out there. And I talked about it in the pregame show with Mitch Gallo about, laying down in front of shots. It's just it's something that becomes an automatic for players, and Hathaway only knows how to play one way. He goes down and he takes that shot. We'll keep an eye on that because no question Hathaway will be, an important depth piece for Philadelphia.
Right off the faceoff, another shot for Caulfield is stopped by Ersson. That's 5 already for Caulfield. 5 of the 6 shots for the Canadians in this game. Here's Suzuki through center, down the right side. And behind the Flyer net. Swings it all the way back to the line. Struble hands off for Slavkovsky. Now Suzuki with a low shot that's blocked in front. Garrett Wilson goes down as the Flyers stay with it. And try and move it to center. It's cut off though. Demidov through the middle, and he'll blow a wrister wide of the net. Now David Jiricek under pressure. Demidov takes it away and then feeds it over to Suzuki. Back to the line. Jack Guy with a swing and a miss. As he'll flutter it down low. Nick Seeler shuts down his man in the corner, and the Flyers come ahead to neutral territory. Now skated around back into the Flyer zone by Emil Andre. 7:49 remaining in the first. 1-0 Philly. Alex Bumpin, far side. He'll snap it across, no one home, and Alexandre Texier will skate it out to center. Flyers moving around to the far side, bouncing for Marchone. Newhook is there, trying to take it away. Flyers are able to advance ahead to center ice. Andre fires it in. That's shoveled away by Dobish. Then for Barkey, down low, tied up by Kirby Dach. Taken away by Caden Gooley. And he'll inch ahead to center ice as he'll play it in, and they're going to call this icing. He didn't cross the center ice red line in time.
Gooley gets that puck and he's trying to get up. It just lets it go off of the glass, maybe hoping for that puck to check up a little bit, but ultimately goes down for an icing call for the Canadians. Come back to that sequence we just saw a moment ago with Demidov as he gets the puck in the high slot. A quick lateral move to buy himself some space, and he'll be kicking himself as he missed that shot wide on the left side. Had Ersson beat, just had to get to that corner as Demidov still hunting for goal number 20.
It's looking good for him being the clubhouse leader for rookie point scoring at the end of this one tonight, too. Already at 62 points, 2 more than Beckett Seneca. As the Habs flip it out to center ice, Oliver Bonk after it. Son of Radek Bonk, longtime NHLer and a former Montreal Canadian. Played 2 seasons out of the lockout with the Habs. As Montreal get it to center. Zach Bolduc shoots it in off the left side. Sam Ersson tries to rocket it around the boards. It's picked off, though, behind the net by Jiricek, and now Philly ahead to center ice. There's Tyson Forster, almost able to slip by Hudson. They originally had Hudson as having 3 assists in the Islander game, but they took one away from him, so as a result, he's back to level with Larry Robinson for the most assists in a single season by a Habs blue liner at 66. So the record was broken and then unbroken. We'll see if he can do it again tonight. As here are the Habs off the far side, Flyers zone. Jake Evans tried to snap it to the line. That's cut off. And skated to center by Forster. Smothered by Veleno. Veleno will scoop it right back into the Flyer zone. Puck bouncing around far side. Settled down by the Flyers. Hunter McDonald skates around with it in his own zone. He'll feed it ahead to center ice. Michkov steps in over the line. Long wrister. It's turned away by Dobish. Slavkovsky plays it around. Hunter McDonald with a good hit. Got a piece of Jake Evans. That's going to draw some attention from Veleno. Another shot and they score. And it's Oliver Bonk with his first in the National Hockey League to make it 2-0 for Philadelphia.
The reaction from the Flyers and Bonk as he leads the charge by the bench. This is a broken play along the wall, and the Canadians got distracted as they were trying to stick up for Jake Evans, who got dumped on a bit of a blind pass, but this puck ends up coming off the half wall onto Bonk. Bonk, the big right-handed shot, steps into this, and he ends up firing it into traffic. Dobesh maybe looking for a bit of a screen on Glendening, but it ends up beating Dobesh under the glove, under the blocker by the body. Radek Bonk, no doubt, looking down and thinking, congratulations, son, on goal number 1 in the NHL. Not a bad start to his first period, goal and an assist.
Dad Radek, 14 years in the NHL, 969 games with Ottawa, Montreal, and Nashville. And his son now in his first period has 2 points for the Flyers. Assisted on the Martone goal, and now he's got one of his own. At 14:42, and it's 2-0 Philly. As the Flyers set up again in the Montreal zone. Skated in behind the Montreal net. Turning around near side is Alex Bump. Shakes off Engstrom and tried to feed that in front for Martone. That just missed. As Michkov and McDonald get the assist. So what a period this is for the newbies in the Philadelphia lineup, as Hunter McDonald's got his first point in the National Hockey League. Just 6 assists in 62 games this year for McDonald in the American League with Lehigh Valley. As the Flyers flip it in from center ice. Anthony Richard after it with Lane Hudson deep in the Montreal zone. 4:20 to go in this first period of play. Jacob Gaucher battles for it far wing, but Montreal able to play it out to center ice. Flyers bang it off the glass and in. Reinbacher under pressure. It's stripped away. Grodstrom tried to move that over to the far side for Gaucher, but Montreal back the other way with a 3-on-2 through center. Left side moving and shot from Demidov is caught and frozen by Sam Ersson. So the youngsters, Porter Martone and Oliver Bonk, with a pair of goals here for the Flyers as they lead this game 2-0 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
There's nothing like hockey night in Montreal. See the Habs live at the Bell Center and be part of the NHL's most electric atmosphere. Buy your tickets today.
Hey fans, this is Josh Anderson. Get your tickets now at Canadians.com/tickets.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
$1 wings, $1 wings, $1 wings. Boston Pizza has the ultimate lineup. During every Montreal game this season, our wings are only $1 each at Boston Pizza. Come in for some delicious wings, an ice-cold Molson, and a great game. Now that's a winning trio. Visit bostonpizza.com to find a Boston Pizza near you and reserve your table. Boston Pizza is the place to be. See details in restaurant.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Back on Habs Hockey on TSN 690. Later stages of the first period. 3:55 to play in the first period. With a 2-0 Flyer lead, and Jacob Gaucher, JP, almost made it 3-0 prior to the break.
Crazy is all three. Actually, it would have been all four at that point, but Gaucher has been back-to-back 20-goal seasons in the American League and still looking for point and goal number 1 in the NHL. Almost had it on that last sequence.
This is just his 8th game in the National Hockey League, Jacob Gaucher. Undrafted into the NHL. As here come the Flyers into the far side. Michkov, crafty move. Tried the backhander, turned away by Dobish. Looks like Michkov and Caulfield are going to be trigger happy all night. As Michkov's looking for his 20th of the year. Centering attempt by Noah Cates, a wraparound more like it. Tried to hook that in and went just wide as it comes around for Reinbacher. He'll move it to center. Alex Newhook digs it free, far side. Skates in behind the Flyer net. Now Jack-Eye with a good hit near side. Shot from Struble is caught and frozen by Sam Ersson.
It was a good step up along the wall from Jack-Eye as he looks down, and that's Andre that he got. But considering the start, Victor, that Matvei Michkov got off to, 20 goals this season would be quite the accomplishment. Had 26 in his first year, but I'm sure that he would like to get back to the 20-goal mark again.
48 points, so just shy of 50 after 63 points a year ago. Points in 4 of his last 6, including a goal and 2 assists in a recent game against the Islanders. Habs win the offensive zone faceoff. Quick shot from Jack-Eye is blockered away and out of play by Ersson. So Michkov, the big question now is JP's gone through the sophomore slump. What's he going to be for Philadelphia next season when he's got a full offseason to get things right?
Well, full offseason of training. I mean, that's the key, right? Is you know, are you gonna stick around? Or are you heading back to Russia? Whatever you're going to do, you have to commit to being a pro, and I think that's something that he learned a hard lesson on this past summer, and it really bled into the start of the season for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Good friends with Demidov, although different ages. They did play together at times during their junior careers in Russia. As the Canadians gather control at center ice, it's played into the Flyer zone. Nick Seeler moves it ahead for Martone, right to center it goes for Bump. Now off to Barkey, far side. Good play by Jack-Eye to knock it away, and then he flattens Bump in the corner. Bump right back to his feet. Rolled to the line, now handled by Porter Martone. Martone through the slot. His shot attempt is blocked by Jack-Eye. And the Canadians move it ahead to center. Kirby Dach now, right side. Coughed it up at the Flyer line. Recovered at center by Bolduc. 2:15 to go in the first. Shots 10-8 for Montreal, but being outscored 2-0. Here's Gallagher through center. Bobbled it, gets it back, tries his shot, and hits the outside of the net. Blocker side on Ersson. Philadelphia to center ice. Taken away by Gallagher. He'll move it ahead for Veleno. Hands off for Evans. Cross ice. Here's Gooley with a shot. That's stopped by Ersson, who was squared to it the whole way.
Well, it was. It was a sweet pass over cross ice from Jake Evans right onto Gooley's stick on the left side, but it was a tough angle, a tight angle that he was trying to beat Ersson on. Just didn't get the look. Ersson was able to get out, close everything down, and make a fairly easy save. You know, Canadians have had their opportunities here in the first period. Very early on, we saw them with a number of occasions just not able to close. And the flip side, of course, is Philadelphia's had a couple of looks, including one on a delayed penalty, and were able to capitalize on it.
Face-off win for Montreal, and a quick shot from Gooley is denied by Ersson, who got the pads on it. Now right side taken away off the boards by Slavkovsky. Tried to feed it back for Suzuki, but it's off his stick and out. Canadians back in their own zone. Gooley ahead to center, now chipped in, skipping it right to Ersson. He's going to cover up with 1:21 to go, and what is a 2-0 lead for Philly. And JP, I know this goes without saying, but this game is far from over, but even more so, game 82, a lot of times can be run and gun, free-for-all type hockey.
Well, it really depends too, Victor, doesn't it, on what you've got. Do you really desperately need the game, or is it a situation like tonight where both teams have already clinched a playoff spot? Everybody pretty much knows where they're going, but you have an influx of either youth or guys are pulled out of the lineup for rest purposes. It can lead to really unusual games.
Face-off win for Montreal in the attacking zone. Here's Slavkovsky near side. Along the boards. Chased all the way to the line by Michkov as it's thrown down low. Back up to the point, and it escapes out to center for David Reinbacher.
Last minute of play.
Reinbacher on the ice with Lane Hudson. As Caulfield lost an edge at center. Flyers step in. Gaucher trying to swing it out in front, but couldn't hit the mark for Carl Grundstrom. And the Canadians settle it down with 40 seconds to go in the first. Hudson up to center. And Montreal in offside on the left wing.
You can see Texier looking up, thinking that bit of an unusual call, but as he looks cross ice, you'll see Demidov was trying desperately to get his left foot back on side and just made that move a little quick.
Caulfield getting some maintenance done to the wheels. As Pat Langlois is going to put a new set on.
That's it. Just a couple of seconds left in the first period, but get them scored away nonetheless.
Canadians chip it in from center. As the Flyers play it around to the near side in their own zone. Texier harassed by Nick Seeler. Seeler's got the puck. Short feed over to Jiricek. Stretching to center. That's deflected in behind the Montreal net, and that's going to just about do it here for the period. 3 seconds to go, and Jack is going to sit on the puck, and that's all for period number 1.
Well, if you're the general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, you're pretty happy that you clinch a playoff spot yesterday. But now as you're looking, the kids look to be doing okay as Porter Marchand the season, and Oliver Bonk gets his first NHL point and 2 points in the period as Philadelphia takes that 2-0 lead.
Porter Marchand's fourth of the year at 8:08 from Michkov and Bonk, and then Bonk does it again himself from Michkov and McDonald at 14:42. Habs down 2-0 through one period of play. We got the first intermission roundtable coming up next on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
From the rink to the radio, Habs Lunch. Get all the information, highlights, and analysis with Campbell versus Gallo daily. No subscription fees. Just pure Habs talk the way you like it. Habs Lunch, weekdays noon to 1.
Centers out in front. Oh, what a big stop from Sam Montembeault. He takes one away.
Also available on the free iHeartRadio app as a podcast.
Spring's finally here, and Julie is making the most of it, going for long walks, escaping the city, and reconnecting with nature.
Hey, girls!
And reconnecting with her besties, one of whom is having a baby shower on the other side of the country.
Switch to Canada's best 5G network and never miss an important moment. Plus, get all the data you need at a great price. Visit a Bell store or bell.ca/rate plans. Bell, connection is everything.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
There's nothing like hockey night in Montreal. See the Habs live at the Bell Center and be part of the NHL's most electric atmosphere. Buy your tickets today.
Hey fans, this is Josh Anderson. Get your tickets now at Canadians.com/tickets.
Whether it's gas, electric, or hybrid, Ford vehicles are always powered by pride. And just like the great teams that inspire us, we always strive for the highest honors. Our lineup is strong, agile, and built to perform. We give it our all to help you and your crew achieve great feats, experience great thrills, and confidently drive to the next great adventure. Your local Ford dealers, proud partners of the Montreal Canadiens. Ready, set, Ford.
Abrysvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrysvo. Visit abrysvo.ca.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee. Made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
Miss the good old days? Of course you do. Winnie's on Crescent has always been the place to cheer on Montreal's hockey team. Come enjoy pub fare before, during, and after the game. Who knows who you'll see? Winnie's Bar and Restaurant, 1459 Crescent, winniesbar.com.
Hey, so what did you want to talk about?
Well, I want to tell you about Wegovy.
Wegovy?
Yeah, Wegovy.
What about it?
On second thought, I might not be the right person to tell you.
Oh, you're not?
No, just ask your doctor about Wegovy. Yeah, ask for it by name.
Okay, so why did you bring me to this circus?
Oh, I'm really into lion tamers. You know, with the chair and everything.
Ask your doctor for Wegovy by name. Visit wegovy.ca for savings. Exclusions may apply.
The first intermission is brought to you by Wegovy. Ask your doctor for Wegovy by name and visit wegovy.ca for savings. Some exclusions may apply.
Shot from Bump goes astray. He's knocked down to the edge. There's going to be a penalty off of this. Hunter McDonald off at the line for Bonk. The two debutants on the same pairing for Philly is Michkov with a shot and he scores. Matvei Michkov with a shot. That took a deflection in front. Off the delayed penalty, the Flyers have made it 1-0. Slavkovsky plays it around. Hunter McDonald with a good hit. Got a piece of Jake Evans. That's going to draw some attention from Veleno. Another shot and they score. And it's Oliver Bonk with his first in the National Hockey League to make it 2-0 for Philadelphia.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens hockey on TSN 690. I'm Mitch Go with Peter Frionis. The Canadiens trailed the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 2-0 after one period of play. Your first period scoring summary, 8:08, Porter Martone with his fourth of the year for Matvei Michkov and Oliver Bonk. And then at 14:42, Oliver Bonk, his first goal from Michkov and Hunter McDonald. It is time for the first intermission roundtable, and we have our color commentator, JP O'Connor, with us. JP, what have you made of how quickly Porter Martone has been able to have an impact on this Philadelphia team?
Isn't it impressive, Mitch? You look at the numbers coming in, you think, maybe he's gotten a little bit lucky here. But when you look at the type of game that he plays, he already plays a very mature game. He looks very calm on the puck, and he looks like somebody to me who is fully understanding of his size and the ability to use his reach is what really stood out in that first period as he's just ragging pucks and keeping it away from guys. He's a very impressive player, and at 6'3" and 210 pounds already, he looks very at ease out on the ice.
Now, for the Canadian side of things here, JP, we saw an early power play pretty much right as the game started.
Yeah.
First unit was out there for 40 seconds. Do you expect that same kind of thing to keep happening all night, where Martin St. Louis doesn't necessarily lean on that top line, even if they are in the position that they're in at the moment, trailing 2-0?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm reading too much into it, Pete, to be honest with you. You get an opportunity to get the second group out with an offensive zone start. I think that's a fair decision to look at and to give your guys an opportunity. But as the game moves on, it's kind of unusual to see the first group come off after 40 seconds. And I think if there's no whistle there, that's probably not what we're going to see. It'll probably be more of the same at the kind of minute to minute and 10, and maybe even more at times, depending on who is possessing the puck, and then kind of the second group coming out for just to mop it up.
What did you see on the second goal by Philadelphia there? Was that just a matter of, Hunter McDonald throws the big hit on Jake Evans, and then Veleno kind of jumps in trying to maybe challenge McDonald a little bit, and then you lose your coverage, right? Because you have one player down and one player trying to engage with another.
Yeah, you got it, Mitch. I think it was a little bit of a scrambled play, and you and I talked about this, right? As you have new kind of blood coming in the lineup, McDonald, NHL game number 1 tonight, a big body out there, and clearly, he's got no goals and 6 assists in Lehigh. He's not out there for the offense. He might not be out there just to goon it up, that's for sure. He's played at Northeastern for a couple of years with Struble and Devin Levi and Kent's son, Jack Hughes, who was there as well. So the kid has got some game, but understands how to use his body physically and steps up on Evans, and Evans just kind of gets caught, and you see the reaction immediately. One thing that I didn't love, though, is, yes, the puck makes its way to the center. At that point, though, you got to expect Engstrom to make a better play on Glendening on the box out. Yes, Glendening is a vet. And understands, what he's got to do in order to try and stay in a lineup now at 36 years old. But I think that Engstrom has to have a little bit of a better push and a box out on Glendening, and it allowed Bonk to get that shot off into a little bit of traffic and find the back of the net.
What about Kapanen being split up from Newhook and Demidov?
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that Marty is just experimenting with, or is he leaning in that direction, in your opinion?
Yeah, I hope not, Pete. Because I've thought about it myself. I find it's been a bit of an interesting choice, and I wonder if Kapanen is more than anything if he's just kind of the odd man out, and not odd man out in that you're not going to play. The odd man out in let's put Kapanen down there. He'll fill that spot as we try to take a look at what else we have. It's a really unusual situation right now, isn't it? Because you get to this point in the year, you clinch a spot in the playoffs, and then I'm not sure if this lineup is any clearer than it's, is it clearer or is it murkier? To me, it looks murkier in the decision-making process. There might be a master plan out there where Marty St. Louis and his staff know exactly what it's going to look like. But as it sits right now with all the line juggling that we've seen, I'm not 100% sure. But I would like to see Kapanen back where he was with Newhook and with Demidov.
We're going to kick it around during the post-game, but a little preview. JP, game 1 of the playoffs, 2 forwards are scratched. Which 2?
I think if you're asking me or if you're asking the team, here's my answer.
It's and I always respond this way too when Campbell asks me these type of questions.
No, that's it.
It's 2 things.
Yeah,
I know.
Exactly. It's 2 things. If it was me, I think I would have Texier and Gallagher out. I do not think that's going to be the case. I think the Gallagher will be an automatic as the playoffs start. And so at that point, I suppose you could easily be looking at pulling Veleno out as well.
Is there any chance that it's one of Kapanen or Doc?
I think that Doc is in a more perilous situation than Kapanen, but I think it would be somebody else before Doc.
All right. Well, like I said, we'll talk about it during the post-game, but JP, enjoy the second period.
Thanks a lot, Mitch. Appreciate it.
There is a JP O'Connor, our color commentator on Montreal Canadiens hockey. I'm Mitch Gell with Peter Vrionis. The Canadiens trail the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 2-0 after 1 period of play. Coming up next, we'll get you caught up with the out-of-town scoreboard.
You're listening to the home of sports in Montreal. TSN 690, CKGM, and iHeart Radio Station.
We all have the same goal, to be environmentally responsible. That's why Rio Tinto and the Montreal Canadiens are teaming up. We're replacing 1.5 million single-use plastic cups at the Bell Center with cups made with infinitely recyclable aluminum from Quebec. And the low-carbon aluminum we use for the cups is made by Rio Tinto right here in Quebec. It's a sustainability slapshot. To learn more, go to riotinto.com.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back.
Come on, boys.
And now it's time to take your shot. Face off against family and friends. And see if you can predict this year's playoffs. Can you pick the perfect bracket and claim the ultimate prize? A trip to a 2026-27 NHL event and an Adventure Chrono NHL Limited Edition watch by Norcane. Sign up today at nhl.com/bracket.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in. Because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
They say it's a second effort league, and wow, what a shove by the kids. Second effort all across the board on the boards to keep that play alive. Pastrnak center, they score! Grab that puck. Morgan Geeky's going to fish it out of there. That's his 39th. And for David Pastrnak, 4 consecutive 100-point seasons.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens Hockey. I'm Mitch Gallo. It's time for your out-of-town scoreboard. And that was Morgan Geeky's 39th of the year. Boston leads the Devils by a score of 4-0. Kastelik has 2 in this one. Arvidsson also with a goal for Boston. First intermission, Carolina resting everybody, except Nick Ehlers, apparently, who has his 26th of the year. Hurricanes lead the Islanders by a score of 1-0. That game at the first intermission. And Alexander Ovechkin and the Columbus Blue Jackets in action right now. Capitals, I should say, in action against the Blue Jackets. And the Capitals have just surrendered the first goal of this hockey game, so it's 1-0 Blue Jackets. Later tonight, Minnesota Wild take on the Anaheim Ducks. You have a matchup between the Utah Mammoth and the Winnipeg Jets, and that game about an hour away. If you're tracking the goal-scoring lead in the National Hockey League, Nathan McKinnon in action tonight taking on the Calgary Flames. Did not score last night, but is at 52 goals on the year, one ahead of Cole Caulfield. St. Louis Blues host the Pittsburgh Penguins, who already know they'll be hosting Philadelphia in round 1 of the playoffs, and then out west, the Vancouver Canucks at home to the LA Kings. Coming up next, we'll get you second period action between the Canadiens and Flyers. Victor Finley and JP O'Connor with the call. The Habs trail 2-0.
There's nothing like hockey night in Montreal. See the Habs live at the Bell Center and be part of the NHL's most electric atmosphere. Buy your tickets today.
Hey fans, this is Josh Anderson. Get your tickets now at Canadiens.com/tickets.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, Essor Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, Essor Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, Essor Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833-370-2704 or visit Essor.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Whether it's gas, electric, or hybrid, Ford vehicles are always powered by pride. And just like the great teams that inspire us, we always strive for the highest honors. Our lineup is strong, agile, and built to perform. We give it our all to help you and your crew achieve great feats, experience great thrills, and confidently drive to the next great adventure. Your local Ford dealers, proud partners of the Montreal Canadiens. Ready, set, Ford.
Get ready. Lasso Montreal is back. August 15 and 16 at Parc Jean Drapeau with Thomas Rhett, Mumford & Sons, John Party, Old Dominion, and many more. Weekend tickets and single-day tickets on sale now at LassoMontreal.com. Presented by Bell in collaboration with Coors Original.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
Welcome back to Habs Hockey on TSN 690. Montreal and Philadelphia down 2-0. After one period of play, Victor Finley with JP O'Connor on the call. In Game 82 of the NHL's regular season, we have seen some funny score lines this time of year, and perhaps we're in for another one tonight.
A couple of goals early on with the youngsters for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Martone and Bach.
A couple of points for Bach. That must be, he must have gone back to the dressing room after the first period, say, hey, this NHL thing's pretty easy.
Got his former London Knight teammate with him tonight, too, and Denver Barkey for the Philadelphia Flyers, as Philly start off this second period with a neutral zone face-off win. Habs now moving from right to left as David Jiricek goes back into his own zone, turned it over. Canadians off the far side to the line. Played over to the left wing for Suzuki. Back to the point. Shot block from Forster, and he's able to get it out to center. This is touched by Suzuki offside.
There's another shot coming in and catches Forster as he goes down in the high slot. He looks to be okay, but Forster does not need another injury this time of year, that's for sure. As we mentioned, been out for a couple of months earlier on in the year with an upper body injury, needed surgery on his arm.
And missed multiple months, actually missed 50 games to be specific, before coming back April 2nd against Detroit, then scored that big shootout winner for them last night over Carolina.
That was it. That clinched it.
Face-off win for the Flyers. Had Philly not won that game last night, this one would have a very different feel to it. Flyers would have to get a win, or if that had still gone to overtime last night against the Carolina Hurricanes, well, they still would have needed a win because Washington had the tiebreak over Philly. But now Washington, who's playing Columbus tonight, is a completely meaningless game as the Flyers launch it into the Montreal zone. A minute gone in our second period.
You heard a pretty emotional Rick Tocchet, Flyers legend, now taking over behind the bench, talking about the Flyers getting back into the playoffs, being really proud of his players and how they reacted. They were down 2-0 early in that game, found a way to get back into it, and then clinch it on home ice with the shootout winner by Tyson Forster.
There's Demidov in his own zone. Flyers back in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. As Philly carry in on the far side, it's Luke Glendening in the Montreal zone, tried to center it. Battle behind the net. Last time the Flyers won a playoff series was against the Montreal Canadiens. That was the first round back in 2020. They won that series in 6. As Montreal chase it deep into Flyer territory. Around it goes for Demidov. Far side, down low for Texier. Looks back up the far side wing. He'll scoop it around, looking behind the Flyer net. That's cut off. And Garnet Hathaway back out there for Philadelphia. That's a bit of a surprise, given the fact he left in the first after blocking a shot. But the Flyers are back to full strength now in that regard, as Lane Hudson holds on to it behind his own net. 17:38 to go in the second. Canadians up to center ice, stripped to the puck here by Philly. Here goes Jacob Gaucher in on the right side, sharp angle try, and that's worked away by Dobish as the Habs launch it out to center.
Gaucher knew that he had Flyers teammates heading to the net. It was just a hard shot into the paint, and Dobish had to be alert as he steers that puck into the corner.
Hunter McDonald deep in his own zone. Gave it away off the far side. Habs to the line. Here's Lane Hudson with a shot. Couldn't get that through traffic. Another try in front. Clean look on stop. Rebound in front. And Gallagher couldn't put it home for Montreal. Now Hudson back in front. Stolen away and flipped out to center by Hunter McDonald.
It's a frustrated group of Montreal Canadiens heading back to the bench. They felt that they had one for sure. Ersson comes back. It looked like it was going to get banked off the back of his leg, but ends up squirting through the crease.
Puck at center for Montreal. It's ripped in. Flyers bounce it around far side. Veleno's there for Montreal. Trying to hold it in, but it does come to center for Tyson Forster. He'll wrist it in as Dobish knocks it down behind the net and then gave it away in the corner.
Dobish was looking for it, couldn't figure out where it had gone.
There's Michkov with a try. That's turned away. As Veleno saucers it ahead. Jake Evans plays it in. Flyers back behind their own net. McDonald moves it up. Out through center ice. Icing call here as Engstrom wins the race for it with 15:54 to go in the second period, and the Flyers up 2-0.
Joe Veleno would come in pretty heavy on that forecheck, and it was a careless turnover behind the net and almost put Ersson in trouble. Philadelphia ends up getting out of it. We were talking about Zach Bolduc in the line just prior as Bolduc collects a puck off of a rebound and he just chips it from below the goal line and he's looking to bank it off of Erson's pad, off the skate, right through the crease area. Flyers still maintain a 2-goal lead.
Puck bouncing into the Habs zone. Gooley is on it, pressured by Bump. Out there with Barkey and Michkov. Michkov, far side, long shot, stopped by Dobish. That's at least 5 now in the game for Matvei Michkov. As Cole Caulfield, who's got 5 shots of his own, throws it in from center. Nick Seeler is on it for Philadelphia. And the Flyers come out down the right side. Here's Bump to the attacking zone. Passes off, far side. Dobish the save, and he hangs on as a one-timer from Martone was unleashed.
Well, Martone just finds that soft spot. He was ready to go and got all of that puck on the one-timer. Dobish gets a hard push from left to right and squares it up. Tremendous save on that shot coming in for Martone, looking for his second goal of the evening.
Been an impressive game thus far for Porter Marchone, who would be part of this lineup anyway, regardless of what the meaning was for this game. He is not in here because it doesn't matter what happens with the Flyers tonight. He's going to be in there for game 1 of the postseason. Battle off the face-off. Blocker side on Dobish. Garnet Hathaway trying to dig it loose. It goes right to Lane Hudson. And he'll sit on it behind the Montreal net. Breakout, goes ahead to center. Habs throw it in. Ersson out to stop it. Comes over to David Jiricek. Jiricek handles it in his own zone. And under pressure, this gets away, but out to center. It's picked up there by Hudson. Now Kirby Dach drags it around. Drops it back for Hudson. Out through center. Down to Dach, far side. Moves to the inside, and he's upended. As it goes back to center ice.
What a spill for Dach.
Flyers in on the far wing. There's a shot hit the outside of the goal post. As Kirby Dach has gone back to the Montreal bench.
Well, he was slow to get up. He just had his left foot kind of clicked. Almost like somebody clicking your heels in the schoolyard, and he tumbled heavily, landed on the backs of his shoulders, head banged against the ice.
Flyers have it low in the Montreal zone. Gaucher and Grundstrom take it away, though, and here go the Habs to center. Texier, far side with Newhook. Chased into the corner. Played back to the line for Jack-Eye. Stolen by Philadelphia and brought to center. Here's Gaucher. Working in right side. Cut off by Reinbacher. Poked around by Texier. 13.5 to go in the second as the Habs come out to center. Poked in behind the Flyer net. Near side boards. Gaucher forks it ahead to the neutral zone. Taken by Montreal. Texier right back in down the left side. Drops off. Goulet moves in front, and Ersson can't stop it. Brendan Gallagher finds a way through. And Montreal have their answer back for their first goal of the night with 13:10 to go in the second.
That's quite the setup from Goulet as well, who gets this puck. And Philadelphia gets a little bit lost in their coverage. Brendan Gallagher going hard to the back post as this puck comes into Goulet. Goulet right across the slot. Here's the yell coming in from Gallagher, and that couldn't be an easier finish from Gallagher. Stick on the ice, hard pass, and it goes right through the 5-hole for Ersson, and the lead's cut in half.
So Texier is going to get an assist on that to break a 10-game pointless drought. Goulet gets the primary assist, and Brendan Gallagher breaks his own 8-game pointless streak with his first goal in 19 games for Montreal. Last scored on February the 4th, the last game before the Olympic break in Winnipeg. As here's Michkov moving in with a shot, and a save is made by Dobish. 7th of the year for Brendan Gallagher by Jake Evans. As it comes loose for Tyson Forster, he's going to fly it out the center. Glove down by Michkov and thrown into the Montreal zone. Here's Reinbacher the other way. Slavkovsky now moving into Flyer territory. Near side boards, Hudson snaps it over to Reinbacher. Tried the shot, couldn't get it through, but it broke the stick. A bump. Reinbacher with a shot, but a clear line for Ersson to see that, and he snaps it up for the whistle. 12:04 to go in the second period of play. Brendan Gallagher, he's got 7 on the air. He's made it a 2-1 game in favor of the Flyers here on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Bell Pure Fiber Internet? It's fast, like really fast. And the offer? It's good, like really good.
Switch to Bell Pure Fiber, Canada's fastest internet, awarded by Ookla. Get 500 for $75 a month with autopay credit.
Fast internet, long ad, but so worth it.
Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell, connection is everything.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Delmar, logistics made simple, transforming intricate logistics challenges into effortless experiences for clients across the globe. Visit DelmarCargo.com to connect with a Delmar expert today. Delmar, logistics made simple.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
12:04 to go in the second period. 2-1 lead for the Flyers. Brendan Gallagher has the Canadiens to within a goal. Back in the lineup tonight. And some tough lineup decisions coming up this weekend for Martin St. Louis ahead of Game 1 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, whenever that is, on Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday, and will it be in Montreal? Will it be down in Tampa Bay? So no question, but one thing's for sure, though, is that for some of these players who have been in slumps, extended or otherwise, it's good to get something before the playoffs start. We saw Texier break that.
Off-field, moves it across, shot incoming from David Reinbacher, trails wide of the net. We're seeing Reinbacher with Hudson again for Montreal. As David Jiricek picks it up, tries to play it out off the glass. Gets some help from Glenn Denning, and it does get out to center. Loose puck comes over to Lane Hudson, and now here goes Caulfield moving it with a wrister. That's turned away. And played off the boards to center by Philly. Now Slavkovsky tries to launch it in. Brought back the other way, though, by Philadelphia through the middle. Barkey with a try, and he lifts that one wide of the net.
It's some sloppy defending by the Canadiens. Allow Barkey to get in tight. That puck just goes over the crossbar.
And an icing call here on Montreal with 11 minutes to play in the second.
It was the end of a longer shift for Slavkovsky and Caulfield, who had made a change out on the back check, and it was Nick Suzuki down the middle of the ice just a little bit late on Barkey. Barkey with a shifty little move. It just gets under that puck as it stands up. I don't know about you, Victor, but the pucks are bouncing around in the Xfinity rink tonight. All kinds of temperature changes, as we know, and the humidity might be up a little bit, but the ice does not look great tonight in Philly.
D-zone face-off for Montreal. Suzuki out to take it, but it's a win for Barkey. Now skated up high in the Montreal zone. Now to the point. Juleson with a try. That's caught by Dobush, and he'll freeze that.
Noah Juleson, you talked about him earlier. Former first-rounder to Montreal. He's waiting for that puck back there. Is such an unusual start to his career with the eye injury, the head injury that he had. Never really seemed to get on track. I always thought there was a lot of promise. But I think the best thing that could have happened to Noah Juleson was to pick up, move along, get a fresh start, ended up going to Vancouver and has made a stop here in Philadelphia and is getting some games under his belt.
Game number 52 this year for Juleson as the Habs win the D-zone face-off and flip it to center. 4 years with the Canucks organization for Juleson. Before this, his first year with Philly. As Jaden Struebel's got it behind the Montreal net. Talk about former Habs that are doing well in Philadelphia. There's one we're not seeing tonight, Christian Dvorak, who for the first time in his career is a 50-point player. As he's getting rest tonight. Canadians play it to center ice, all the way into the Flyer zone. No icing here. Loose puck along the end boards. Veleno with Brendan Gallagher out in front. There's a shot, and that's stopped by Ersson as he denies Jake Evans.
Jake Evans just camped out in the slot. Give Brendan Gallagher credit. It's a hard back battle behind the net. He finally corrals the puck and zips it round front. Jake Evans had found a little bit of space, and I think Evans thought that he had one there, that he had the tying goal. Came off of his stick in a great spot. He was looking to go 5-hole, but Ersson takes it away at the last moment.
Habs will put Kapanen with Doc and Bolduc on the ice. Gulian and Engstrom at the blue line. Face-off win for the Habs. Goulet sends it down the near side. Habs stay with it. Here is Bolduc off the board to the point. Adam Engstrom on it. Down the wing, tries a shot. That one's off the pad of Engstrom, of Ersson as it rolls away. And the Flyers toss it out through center, and Matvei Michkov will be the first to it, deep in Hab territory. Michkov behind the Montreal net. Passes off, hard drive from Jiricek, stopped by Dobish, still loose in front, cleared away. And the Canadians get it out to center.
But Dobish was hunting for that puck. I think he thought it was a little bit leaky, and sure enough it was behind him.
Michkov moving in, another shot, that's caught by Dobish, and he'll squeeze that for the whistle. With 9:22 to go in the second, it's 2-1 Philly on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
For over 10 years, Novo has teamed up with thousands of employers to establish high-performance OHS game plans. We excel in our field by providing top-level, comprehensive, and integrated occupational health, safety, well-being, and human resources services. Being part of your success is our greatest motivation and pushes us to innovate every day. Together, we are creating healthy, dedicated, and safe workplaces. Novo is a proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
Spring's finally here, and Julie is making the most of it, going for long walks, escaping the city, and reconnecting with nature.
Hey, girls!
And reconnecting with her besties, one of whom is having a baby shower on the other side of the country.
Switch to Canada's best 5G network and never miss an important moment. Plus, get all the data you need at a great price. Visit a Bell store or bell.ca/rate plans. Bell, connection is everything.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
9:22 to go in the second period. Philadelphia up 2-1. Looking to build on that lead just prior to the break, JP.
Yeah, indeed. And listen, Jake Evans will take a look at that miss. I'm sure he's frustrated looking for his 12th goal of the season. But this Philadelphia team has certainly jumped on the opportunities they've had. Listen, if the game continues on like this, you got to be looking at Michkov with 13, 14 shots this game. He's already at 7 or 8 easily.
7 officially is the shot count for Matvei Michkov in this game. Flyers have 17 overall as they win this offensive zone faceoff. Here's Jiricek, right side. Tries a shot, that's snapped up by Dobish. Career high for shots in a game for Michkov is 8. He had 7, or they had 8 of them January 7th of 2025 against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't think that's going to take too much for him as he's already sitting on 7. And Cole Caulfield, I believe his career high is 10.
Against Toronto.
So a little bit kind of quieting down a little here, but he's had plenty of decent looks himself.
6 shots in the game for Caulfield so far. Habs play it down ice. Of course, Caulfield enters play tonight 1 goal shy of Nate McKinnon for a share of the league lead in the Richard Trophy race. As here comes the Flyers to center. Played in behind the Montreal net. Of course, McKinnon's got a couple games in hand too. He's going to play later tonight for Colorado and then again on Thursday. As here goes Alexander Texier into Flyer territory behind the net. Take it away far side. The Flyers try to play it out to center. It's picked up by Texier though, and he'll play it right back down low. Shoveled away by Garnet Hathaway. Here goes Oliver Bonk to center. Pokes it ahead, but Caulfield able to win the race for it. And now here goes Caulfield with speed down the far side. Moving in on the wing, try to go upstairs on Ersson. That's cut off and hung on to for the whistle.
Ersson had the entire length of the ice to know where that shot was coming from. Caulfield catches it just outside of his own blue line, skates the length, and gets almost down to the goal line before he rips that puck short side.
Ersson doesn't know where it is.
He has no idea where it is.
Still can't find it.
He was looking behind him at first, but this puck does, in fact, catch him up high. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it's gone down maybe his arm.
He still hasn't found it.
That's great. Linesman over there shaking him there like an empty tracksuit.
All right, gloves off, lifting up the jersey. He's got about 3 teammates frisking him down here.
That's great.
Trying to find this puck.
He's getting the pat down like he's had a few too many drinks on South Street.
He's got to be in there somewhere. So we're looking at it right now, the replay. Gets it right between the ear and the shoulder.
I'll tell you exactly where this is. This has gone down the back of his pants. They're not going to find it in the front of his shirt. This is going to gone down the backside.
They're still looking up in his left shoulder. Well, how's that for rebound control?
It's not bad. Talking about gobbling that puck up. Takes 6 guys to find it.
Now he's taking the helmet off.
TV
It's not there. Not under the helmet. They're convinced it's still up that
you can feel it.
Sleeve. There it is. Ace up the sleeve for Sam Ersson. He whips it out and we can get this game going again. .8:01 to go in the second period. 2-1 lead for Philadelphia. And that might be the most riveting thing that's happened so far in this second period, other than, of course, the Brendan Gallagher goal.
Exactly, indeed. I'm sure Brendan Gallagher would like a word with you for that, but register that as shot number 7 for Cole Caulfield.
Face off to the glove side of Ersson. Caulfield tied up along the boards. And behind the Flyer net, Suzuki to the line for Reinbacher, who's getting a regular shift here with Lane Hudson. Slavkovsky behind the Philly net. Moved up the far side. Flyers play it all the way down the ice. That's going to go for an icing. As Reinbacher is the first to it, and that's a pretty good endorsement, isn't it, for Martin St. Louis to have David Reinbacher out there with Hudson, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky.
Yeah, listen, I think that if you're Marty St. Louis tonight, it's not a matter of different messaging. You know how your team's going to play, but I do think that you're coaching a little bit differently tonight with the assets that you have. And Reinbacher's one of those guys who is going to have to get some looks in more important situations, and that's exactly what we've seen here in this game.
Right off the face-off, puck ends up out into the Montreal bench. So we'll try it again. Reinbacher's already got 1 NHL point. Got that in the third period, or rather in the second period, against the Islanders on the new hook goal to make it 3-0.
Well, he had a heavy shot in from the top of the blue line as well as registered a shot in the second period here. Ersson grabbed that with his glove.
David Reinbacher is just the second NHL defenseman ever to be born in Austria. 8th player overall who was, again, born in Austria and went on to play in the National Hockey League. Of course, Thomas Vanek did it for the Montreal Canadiens, too. Although he obviously wasn't drafted by Montreal as the Flyers work ahead to center ice. The other defenseman from Austria is Thomas Pock, former Ranger and Islander. As the Canadiens move it around in their own end. Here is Jake Evans. Let's cross ice. Rolls all the way back for Ersson in the Flyer net. He'll shovel it aside for Jiricek. Off the glass and out. 6:52 to go in the second period. 2-1 Flyers lead. Here goes Gallagher. In on the far side to the net. Tried to hit Veleno, but unable to connect, and Philly come back the other way.
A superb play by Gouli as he headmans the puck. One pass beats 3 Flyers and allows the Canadiens to get in.
Jiricek at center. Knocked into the boards by Gouli as the puck gets played around. Harper Jackeye pressured in the far side. Michkov with Noah Cates. Both tied up along the end boards. Puck comes loose. Left side out in front for Cates. Couldn't corral it. Bouncing in front. They score. And it's Matvei Michkov who gets his 20th of the year. And it's 3-1 for Philadelphia.
We could see the reaction immediately from Dobesh, who's known he's made a mistake on this. The puck actually gets fed out, and it allows Dobesh to get his stick on it. He bats at it rather than stopping and getting a whistle. He bats at it with his stick, and he hammers it off of Jake Evans's pads. Sends everybody the wrong direction, and it drops right onto Michkov's stick, who on his 8th shot of the night solves Dobesh for his 20th goal of the season.
And you could see, based off the reaction, that is not a meaningless goal for Matvei Michkov.
No, not at all. I think the teammates on the bench will be giving him a big pat in the back. There might be a nice bottle of wine in there for somebody.
That is a 3-point game for Matvei. He's got a goal and 2 assists, so he's over the 50-point threshold for the second time in his NHL career. As the Flyers chop it in from center, this is going to go for an icing. 6:01 to go in the second period. Now a 2-goal lead once again for the Flyers on Michkov's 20th at 13:52.
We talked about Tocchet and his relationship with Matvei Michkov. Not an easy one at the beginning of the season. I think there were some hard discussions that were had between the two, but Michkov is clearly bought in, got things back on track, and as Philadelphia heads into the playoffs, they've got a Matvei Michkov who's on a scoring streak.
Here's Lane Hudson dancing around far side, Flyer zone. Feeds the point for Kapanen. Back to Hudson. Pressured along the boards by Bump. And puck is rolled to center. That's going to be unassisted on the Michkov goal, as this puck ends up out of play by the Flyer bench. That'll send us out to break here late in the second period. It's 3-1 Flyers on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
For the food contest at IGA. Win $50,000 in groceries and so much more. Buy a featured product in store and scan your Scene Plus card to enter. And download the IGA app and play the Power Play game daily. Tons of instant prizes worth over $100,000. IGA, the official grocer of the Montreal Canadiens. No purchase necessary. Participating stores only. Details and rules at IGA.ca and on the IGA app.
Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to LaCage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At LaCage, everyone's a fan.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Back on Habs Hockey, 5:39 to go in the second period. 3-1 Flyers. This is it for a regular season tonight. Although the NHL continues on tomorrow as well, and I want to send out a congratulations to one of our colleagues on the NHL play-by-play circuit on the radio side. Joe Bowen's going to call his last game. Toronto and Ottawa tomorrow. Just called his last home game last night. You might have seen it. Toronto and Dallas, and somebody who's been on the radio play-by-play side for over decades. We're talking 44 years calling Toronto Maple Leaf games. So while they are typically the bad guys, we tip our cap to Joe Bowen and a fantastic run as voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs over 44 seasons.
Here. Well said, Victor.
Canadians in their own zone. Herbert Jackeye throws it ahead to center. And back it comes for Jaden Struble behind his own net. Bumped into the boards as Martone gets in there and throws his weight around a little bit too. Puck comes loose for Philadelphia. Denver Barkey. Stick handles behind the Montreal net. Off to Martone. Tries the wrister, and Dobish able to stand up tall to that as the rebound is controlled by Martone. Then he's spilled by Jackeye. Now Jiricek in the slot. Far side, Jiricek. Down low and curled in front by Martone. Can't connect as the Canadians come ahead to center. Here's Texier moving in with a wrister, and that one goes wide. Might have caught a piece of Ersson.
Newhook dumped in front of the net, looking for a penalty. As Texier was coming in, that Newhook going hard to the back post, ended up getting his feet taken out from under him.
I've only seen one power play in this game. It was for Montreal. As here goes Slavkovsky moving in, tried to stuff it home on the pad. Off the right side on Ersson. He's able to hold the goalpost and keep it out as the Habs have it at the blue line. Here's Caulfield up high. Skates around, right side. Shot coming in is stopped by Sam Ersson.
Two glorious chances for the Montreal Canadiens. The first with Texier, and the second was Slavkovsky, who gathers some speed through the neutral zone. Takes this puck, uses his size on the backhand, and looks like he's going to be able to tuck it in. If he could just roll his wrists and elevate, that would have been an easy number 31 on the year, but Ersson stands his ground, gets the right pad out, and keeps it a 2-goal lead for the Flyers.
That was a great save from Sam Ersson, as it's a face-off win for Montreal. Long drive from Caulfield goes wide. Noah Cates down low. Trying to move it out. Gooley there to intercept it. Around it goes far side. Hudson able to move it down low for Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky in the corner. Now drifting behind the Flyer net. Over to Cole Caulfield. Off the boards to the point for Hudson. Rolls it right back around. Taken on the near side by Goulet, out in front, and a slow roller is put wide of the net by Slavkovsky.
Puck jumping again.
It'll go out to center ice. Lane Hutchin was tied up with Forster. There's going to be a penalty here. I'm not sure on who.
This looks to me like the Philly penalty.
Number 71, 2 minutes for holding.
There it is. Tyson Forster goes off. Habs to the power play for the second time tonight. Brought to you by Florida Canada, official partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
You can see Rick Tocchet looking down at the screen, at the monitor under his feet, but this is just a race for the puck. This is Hudson, who just gets the step ahead of Forster, who knows that he's going to get beat to the puck first. Forster just reaches out, pulls both players down, potentially looking for an interference call from Hudson, but it's going to be the Canadiens who are heading off to the power play.
Suzuki in for the draw with Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Demidov, and Hudson. 3:17 to go in the second. Canadians 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. Face-off win right back to Lane Hudson. Down low, far side out in front. Slavkovsky tried to snap it to Cole Caulfield. Goes back to the line. Now Suzuki left wing. From the hash marks down to the goal line for Caulfield. Up top with Hudson. Now Caulfield and Suzuki switch. As Demidov tried a one-timer out of the bumper spot. That's poked away out to center by Cates. And Lane Hudson all the way back. From his own zone, starts ahead to center. Habs drop it back. Here's Nick Suzuki with speed. Off to Caulfield near side. In they come. As the Habs will get set up at the blue line with Lane Hudson. Left side, Caulfield down to Suzuki. Switching with Caulfield. Now far side, Slavkovsky. For Hudson, Suzuki. Down to Caulfield and can't get the shot through clean. Hit a stick. Caulfield behind the net. Over to Nick Suzuki. Up top, Hudson, far side. Slavkovsky across, Suzuki off his foot. Back to Hudson. Far side again for Slavkovsky. Big shot block, and that one hurt Nick Seeler. And he is back up to his feet under his own power. Looks to be all right.
Well, this is one of these ones with Seeler. He just can't get out of the way. He gets down to get big and try to make sure that he's in a lane, but I don't think he's expecting to catch this puck where he catches it. It's Demidov who goes high and ends up catching Seeler in the back of the shoulder with it. You can see the reaction from Seeler. You can actually see a little bit of concern as well from Demidov.
That was an 83-mile-an-hour one-timer from Ivan Demidov.
Not like you got a ton of protection there in the back of your shoulder.
Habs win the draw. Engstrom with the shot. Can't get it through traffic. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Second unit is on the ice. Flyers played around to the near side all the way out. Down ice toward Dobish. Canadians gather it. Bring it ahead to center with Engstrom. He will drop it back for Alexandre Texier. Now Kapanen in on the far side. Martone breaks it up and out to center. Look out, Martone racing after it and opts to hang on instead of pulling the trigger. And he's just going to kill more time here on the PK.
That's going to do it. What a play by Martone. Heads up, has an opportunity to go hard to the net. And rather than risk it, just turns it back up ice, back into his own defensive zone. And the Flyers are back to 5-on-5.
Habs 0 for 2 on the man advantage. 1:05 to go in this second period as Gouli has a handle on it behind the Montreal net.
You look at Rick Tocchet on the bench. I'm sure he's looking out at his young 19-year-old Martone and thinking that's a pretty mature play.
Here goes Gallagher over the Flyer line. Stripped away by Barkey. Played all the way down ice, off the boards. Gouli picks it up. Habs back to center. Now far side, Jake Evans is cut off. Rolled around in the Flyer zone. Gouli trying to get the shot through. It's caught up in the slot and Philadelphia elevated out to center ice. Swept in by Jake Evans. Seeler back out there for the Flyers. Doesn't miss a shift. So he'll float it to the line. There's Jackeye. Hard drive loose in front, and they score! Late second period goal with 10 seconds on the clock. Jackeye fires it from the line, and Jake Evans is able to poke home the loose puck in the goal mouth to make it 3-2.
Shot hammered in from the blue line by Arber Jackeye. And if it wasn't Jake Evans who was going to get it, it was going to be Joe Veleno. Either way, Canadians get on the back of that puck loose. Ersson has no idea where it's gone, and a diving Jake Evans collects it off of his backhand. There it is, goal number 12. Had an opportunity earlier on in the period, but with under 10 seconds to go, Canadians have it at a one-goal. Flyers have it rather at a one-goal lead.
Habs been chasing the game here tonight, but looks like they're going to go to the third, down just one as they've iced it here from center. So it'll be the 12th of the year for Evans. Jackeye will get the assist on that. I think Veleno might get one here as well. We'll wait to see the official scoring on it.
Now we're going to have to take a look here because there's 4.5 seconds left. This is going to be a defensive zone faceoff for the Montreal Canadiens. So you get one back. You don't want to give one up right away on a set play, and Philadelphia always has a ton of them up their sleeve.
Face-off blocker side on Dobish. Win for the Flyers. Martone passes over. There's the shot, but it doesn't get through. And we will indeed go to the third period with the Habs down by just a goal.
Well, that is not the way that I was expecting the period to end, but Montreal will take that absolutely. Philadelphia frustrated as they had that 2-goal lead until the last few moments of the second period. Jake Evans, goal number 12 on the season, cuts the lead to 1.
So Gallagher, Michkov, and Evans with the 3 goals in that second period. Habs remain trailing in this game. Although they do win the second period, 2-1. It's a 3-2 score for Philadelphia going to the third as we will get set for the 82nd edition of the second intermission roundtable this season. Coming up next on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Hi, it's Ken Connors. When I need to take a little break from keeping up with the news, you know what I do? I go get my Habs fix and I check in with Campbell versus Gallo. Sean and Mitch cover everything from why the team has a hard time protecting a lead to who should be playing on the first line with Nick and Cole. It's a great hang for any fan. They've got your hot takes, your Habs lunch. It's simply hockey heaven. Campbell versus Gallo, drop by any weekday morning after 10 like I do here on TSN 690.
This ad is paid for and approved by Campbell vs. Gallo and unpaid associates.
Whether it's gas, electric, or hybrid, Ford vehicles are always powered by pride. And just like the great teams that inspire us, we always strive for the highest honors. Our lineup is strong, agile, and built to perform. We give it our all to help you and your crew achieve great feats, experience great thrills, and confidently drive to the next great adventure. Your local Ford dealers, proud partners of the Montreal Canadiens. Ready, set, Ford.
There's nothing like hockey night in Montreal. See the Habs live at the Bell Center and be part of the NHL's most electric atmosphere. Buy your tickets today.
Hey fans, this is Josh Anderson. Get your tickets now at Canadiens.com/tickets.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, Export, Ultra, Excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Get ready, Lasso Montreal is back August 15 and 16 at Parc Jean-Drapeau with Thomas Rhett, Mumford & Sons, John Party, Old Dominion, and many more. Weekend tickets and single-day tickets on sale now at LassoMontreal.com. Presented by Bell in collaboration with Coors Original.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Canadiens Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Taken by Montreal. Texier right back in, down the left side. Drops off. Goulet moves in front, and Ersson can't stop it. Brendan Gallagher finds a way through, and Montreal have their answer back for their first goal of the night with 13:10 to go in the second. Ersson doesn't know where it is,
He
JP.
has no idea where it is.
Still can't find it.
He was looking behind him at first, but this puck does, in fact, catch him up high. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it's gone down maybe his arm.
He still hasn't found it.
That's great. Linesman over there shaking him there like an empty tracksuit.
Both tied up along the end boards. Puck comes loose. Left side out in front for Cates. Couldn't corral it. Bouncing in front. They score. And it's Matvei Michkov who gets his 20th of the year. And it's 3-1 for Philadelphia. She'll float it to the line. There's Jackeye. Hard drive loose in front. And they score. Late second period goal with 10 seconds on the clock. Jackeye fires it from the line, and Jake Evans is able to poke home the loose puck in the goal mouth to make it 3-2.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens hockey. Philadelphia Flyers lead the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 after 2 periods of play. I'm Mitch Gallo with Peter Frionis. Your second period scoring summary. 6:50 of the period, it was Brendan Gallagher's 7th goal from Caden Gooley and Alexander Texier. And then at 13:52, Matvei Michkov made it 3-1 Philadelphia. And then very late, with about 10 seconds left at 19:50, Jake Evans scores his 12th. Arbor Jackeye and Joe Veleno with the assists. It is time for the second intermission roundtable, and we have our play-by-play man Victor Finley with us. Victor, not just because he scored a goal in that second period, but Brendan Gallagher looks like he has the legs of somebody who hasn't played in a couple weeks.
He does look a little better tonight, Mitch. I would agree. I think he's that line in general, I think, has been a bit surprising here for me with Evans and Gallagher. It looks like Veleno's got a point tonight, too. On the Jake Evans goal here. I suspected that might be the Veleno assist, and there it is. So, yeah, all three of those guys. I don't know if it's going to be enough to push Gallagher back into the conversation here for Game 1 of the playoffs to be in the lineup, but he does look better tonight.
Yeah, see, that's where I was going. How much do you think Martin St. Louis uses this game to make a decision, or is his mind pretty much made up with what he wants to do for Game 1 against Tampa Bay?
I think it's got to be pretty close to being made up. But you know what? I thought about it the other day, though, kind of picturing how a playoff series with Tampa Bay might look. And, boy, man, if Gallagher can be what, ideally he can be, I mean, that's a kind of series where you could use a guy like that, right? Like, there's got to be some positive benefit to having Brendan Gallagher in the lineup if he's able to contribute and play somewhat like he was last year. The third line with him, Dvorak, and Anderson, for me, was a huge part of the reason why the Canadiens got into the playoffs last season to begin with. So there's no question Brendan Gallagher has had his struggles this year, and I still don't think I think the odds are against him to be in the lineup for Game 1 of the postseason, but it wouldn't surprise me if somehow, some way, he does find a way to have some kind of impact in that Tampa Bay series.
What about when it comes to the goaltenders? I know Dobush has been on fire, and I don't want to nitpick in this one game, but it has. We have seen the level drop a little bit, not substantially in the last couple, but he does look a little bit more shaky, whereas in previous games he was just calm, cool, and collected. So what about that? Is there a decision that needs to be made, or maybe there's a needle moving in one direction?
I don't think so.
Marty?
I think it's Dobush Game 1. Fowler's been good. We'll see what happens in the first round. I think there's every possibility that we could see Jacob Fowler get games in there, but it's Dobush is going to have to do something in order for that to happen, or not do something, I guess, for Jacob Fowler to find a way in. But right now, I mean, playoffs starting Saturday or Sunday, I don't think it matters what happens in this game. Dobush is the guy that's got you on this streak to get you into the postseason, to get you that first-round matchup against Tampa Bay. So that's who the Habs, I think, are going with for sure on the weekend.
Just about how long the leash is, though.
What if you mean for Dobush in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on how he looks. Depends on how he looks in the first couple games here. I don't think you read a whole lot into how he's playing, Game 82 of the regular season tonight. But, my thing, Mitch, that I mentioned a week or so ago, however long it was now, was the challenge for Dobush is going to be when he comes down off the hot streak, and maybe that's what's happening now because he gave up 5 against Columbus, and we'll see how many he gives up at the end of this one tonight. But, how does he process that, right? Does he feel like the stretch he was on is the floor? Because I don't think it is. I don't think that's the floor for any goalie. So, is he able to overcome the mental block of not being as hot as he was? He doesn't need to be as hot as he was in order for the Montreal Canadiens to win, but I definitely think there's going to be a challenge for him coming off the hot streak to, I guess, adjust to a bit of a new normal and maybe get over a bit of a mental roadblock there. And it's going to be even harder if that's going to happen for him in the playoffs. You got to keep in mind, you're still a rookie goalie, still a rookie goaltender. So it's not like he is his, he has played a couple playoff games coming in relief for Montembeault in the Washington series, but it's not like he's been around the block like a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky has in the playoffs for Tampa Bay. So I don't. It's hard to say right now how long that leash is going to be. But, let's just compare it to the other guy, right, that he's going to face in Andrei Vasilevsky. It's much shorter than it would be if, we're talking about Vasilevsky on the Tampa Bay side, because Vasilevsky's earned that. He's one of the best goalies in the world for a number of years. He's got it done in the playoffs. That's still unproven for Dobish. Hasn't got it done in the playoffs yet because he hasn't had the chance to. And on top of that, Jacob Fowler's looked as good as he has for Montreal.
And, Victor, very quickly, curious what you think of Matvei Michkov tonight, as the puck seems to be following him around, and he looks completely different from the Matvei Michkov we saw earlier this season at the Bell Center.
I mean, is the puck following Matvei, or is Matvei following the puck around? I think it's a little bit of both there tonight. Like, he is very trigger happy. He's got 8 shots already. That ties a career high for him. So I don't know if there's a numerical, or if there's a bonus on the line for him to get 20 goals, which he obviously got, or 50 points, which he's already got as well. But he looks like a guy who's out there hunting points tonight. That's kind of how I interpret this performance from Michkov. So, I watched the game last night against Carolina. I thought he looked okay. I mean, the skating for me is still not at the level that it needs to be.
Everyone can see that.
For a guy that, you're taking 7th overall, he's a top 5 talent in that draft. You probably want him to be a perennial 70, 80-point guy. The skating, to me, doesn't match what the expectation for his numbers would be. So that's still going to be a big area of improvement. But the shot's always been good, right? There's nothing different, I guess, in that sense tonight. But yeah, I would say from what we've seen from Michkov in this game, to me, it looks like a guy who's hunting points.
Thanks, Victor.
You got it.
And there's Victor Finley back with the final third period of the regular season here on Montreal Canadiens Hockey. Of course, the playoffs coming up this weekend, but right now the Flyers lead the Canadiens 3-2 after 2. We'll get you caught up with the out-of-town scoreboard next.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Montreal Canadiens is expressly prohibited.
Hey, so what did you want to talk about?
Well, I want to tell you about Wegovy.
Wegovy?
Yeah, Wegovy.
What about it?
On second thought, I might not be the right person to tell you.
Oh, you're not?
No, just ask your doctor about Wegovy. Yeah, ask for it by name.
Okay, so why did you bring me to the circus?
Oh, I'm really into lion tamers. You know, with the chair and everything.
Ask your doctor for Wegovy by name. Visit wegovy.ca for savings. Exclusions may apply.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, Essor Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, Essor Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, Essor Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833-370-2704 or visit Essor.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
If Bell Fibe TV is now streaming, is it still TV? Is it still TV if there's no TV box? If I can stream all my favorite channels and pause and record shows, that's TV, right?
A new era of Fibe TV. It's streaming, but it's still TV.
Well, glad that's settled.
Bell. Connection is everything.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around. In the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation, Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass, or cup, or whatever you pour your Molson in. Because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Canadians Hockey is presented by Essor Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. Essor Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back to Habs Hockey on TSN 690. We're about 3 minutes away from the start of the third period between the Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers. Victor Finley here with JP O'Connor. We got a little bit of time to kill, buddy, before we get to our final period of regulation in game number 82 for the Montreal Canadiens, who have come back many times this year from down a goal in the third period. It's not going to make a huge difference for them if they do it again, although it will secure home ice advantage on the weekend if they can find a way to get it done.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think that the takeaway here for the Canadiens is, you can get a third period under your belt that you finish off, you feel comfortable. Yes, Tampa Bay might be able to squander it anyway if they get the win that they're looking for tomorrow in New York. But with the lineup that the Canadiens have in there this evening, it's going to be a battle.
So let's take you through the out-of-town scoreboard here since we got a little bit of time. It's a 4-0 lead for the Boston Bruins right now over New Jersey. Geeky, Kastelik ×2 and Arvidsson have the goals for Boston, so it's looking good for Boston and Buffalo.
Oh, Geeky with 39 on the season.
David Pastrnak with 100 points, assisting on that as well. Then we got Ehlers and Horvat with a pair of goals here or rather one goal each in a 1-1 game between the Hurricanes and Islanders, just underway in the third period. Washington and Columbus also tied at 1 through 40 minutes. Boone Jenner and Anthony Beauvillier with the goals. Anaheim and Minnesota are tied at 1 after the first. McTavish and Danila Yurov with the goals. And then we got Winnipeg, Utah coming up, Colorado, Calgary, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and LA, Vancouver to close out the night. And then, of course, we still got 2 more days worth of games here in the National Hockey League, JP.
Yeah, indeed, and it's going to be a busy night tomorrow night. We talked already about the New York Rangers and Tampa and Ottawa and Toronto as well. I think that's going to be an interesting one, just how things kind of finish off there with the Battle of Ontario. It's not going to mean nearly as much to the Leafs, but as Ottawa prepares for their playoff series, I think that you'll get a chance to see them starting to ramp things up.
Expecting to see all playoff series get kicked off on the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to get some afternoon games. Should be a lot of fun this coming weekend league-wide.
That weather's starting to change here in Montreal. Starting to see some flags out in the cards, Victor, coming in.
Still a lot of rain falling down, though. Not a lot of sunshine around these parts the last couple days. But as they say, it is always sunny in Philadelphia. We are ready to go for the third period between the Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers. Nick Suzuki versus Noah Cates off the face-off at center ice, and the Habs win it back into their own zone. Hudson passes ahead for Juraj Slafkovsky. I'll drop it back to Hudson. Works it all the way down ice right to Sam Ersson. He's going to shovel that aside for Juracek. Habs take it away and try and center. It's picked off though, and Philadelphia come out over the Montreal blue line. Here's Cates, tied up, goes down to the ice with Caden Gooley. As the Canadiens pick it up and start ahead to center with Lane Hudson. Hudson moving in off the wing, tries a shot. That's off a body. And it's brought to center by Denver Barkey. Trying to cross the Montreal line. Gets held up as it comes back into Philly territory. Loose puck near side boards. Taken by Montreal. Demidov can't handle it. Noah Juleson gave it away at the line to Jack-Eye. Demidov down low. Centered in front for Alex Newhook, but he's stripped of it by Martone just at the last second.
That's some kind of individual play by Demidov along the half wall. Gets that puck out to Newhook, who fans on it.
Habs move it around in Flyer territory. Behind the net, here's Alexandre Texier. Picked up by Noah Juleson. He'll play it around for Porter Marchone. It's lifted all the way out to center. Now played in by Alex Bump. Herbert Jack-Eye goes for it. Blew a tire. Glendening feeds it off. A shot from Hunter McDonald goes astray. Zach Bolduc gets to it for Montreal. Now here's Kapanen to center. Taken away by Oliver Bonk. Flyers to the neutral zone. Kapanen gets in the way, but puck rolls back toward Dobish. And out to center it goes for the Flyers. Sealer slips it all the way down ice. Hudson after it. Moved all the way around, back out through center, and Sealer will get to it in his own zone. Jacob Gauthier to the neutral zone. Joe Veleno is in the way. Carl Grundstrom fires it into Hab territory. 3 minutes gone in the third period of play. Still 3-2. Philadelphia. Grundstrom loose in front with a try, and he flies that one wide. Threatening on the glove side of Jakub Dobish.
There's a bit of a cross-up in the corner with Evans and Gooley. Puck just squirts loose, and Grundstrom gets it. Just can't find the top corner at the right side of the net.
Loose puck at center. Controlled by Montreal. And a shot attempt just over the line from Gallagher ends up rolling toward Ersson. He's going to cover that for the whistle.
Gallagher's already got one under his belt. He was looking for number two there. Just couldn't get the puck to settle down properly as he's looking from a wrist shot from the top of the point. Excuse me, from the top of the circles.
Just looking at the ice time right now, JP, it's spread pretty evenly across the lineup for Montreal. Arbor Jack-Eye is already at 16:23.
I think that's what you would expect tonight, Victor. We talked about St. Louis and not necessarily changing the way that he's coaching, but how you're deploying your players, trying to spread it out a little bit more this evening, lessen the load in the last game.
Here's Forster threatening with a low shot for Philly, and it's stopped by Dobish, who's able to shut the 5-hole in time. Suzuki hands it off to Lane Hudson. Up to Caulfield right side. And played around behind the Flyer net. Philadelphia come back the other way to center. Puck is shot in. Stopped behind the net by Dobish, and here goes Slafkovsky. Full speed ahead through center. In on the right side, stripped of it. Alex Bump the other way. He'll toss it in over top of Struble, who's out there with David Reinbacher. Struble gets knocked over by Martone. Puck comes right to Texier though, and he'll skip it back over to Struble. And lost the handle on it again. And once more, gets bailed out, this time by Demidov, but the Flyers take it back off the near wing.
Canadians a little disjointed.
Bung with a try to the net, and Dobish got knocked over as he reached out to glove the puck, and then Reinbacher with a bit of a shot on Martone afterward. That draws some attention, but don't see the official's arm in the air just yet.
Well, Martone and Reinbacher had gone hard to the back post, and Martone stood his ground, looked at Reinbacher, and it looked like something was going to happen, and Reinbacher just beat him to the punch, literally, as he gets his hands up into Martone's face, backs him off, You can see Martone looking up to the scoreboard, seeing if he can catch a replay. But it all starts with the play with bump off the wall, and Dobesh makes the save, but he's got Martone and he's got Reinbacher just off of his left hip.
Well, that's the first time we've seen a little pesterance out of David Reinbacher as the Canadians take it away off the D-zone face-off. Play it down the ice. That's going to be an icing call into the Flyer zone.
There's going to be a penalty coming up here as well. This is a dangerous play on Brendan Gallagher through the neutral zone. It's a late play. It's going to be an interference call. Could have easily been a knee.
Philadelphia, number 75, 2-minute minor interference.
Don't like that look at all. You know that McDonald delivered a big hit on Jake Evans early in the game in the first period. Dumped Evans clean as a whistle. But he knows that he's late on this play, and rather than deliver the hit, he just gets his leg and his hip out a little, and it knocks Gallagher off balance.
Habs 0 for 3 tonight on the power play, brought to you by Ford of Canada, official partner of the Montreal Canadiens. As the Flyers launch it down the ice. Habs trying to tie this game at 3. 5-on-4, here's Caulfield to center. Drops it off. Nick Suzuki on it. Down the far side. Caulfield hits the brakes. Habs gets set up. Slavkovsky out of the slot. Shot blocked in front. Loose in the near side. Hammered off the glass by Cates. Stays in play. Flyers trying to swat it out to center and finally deposited all the way down the ice.
That puck had gone way up in the air. You knew it was going to be a jump ball coming for it. Puck did not settle, but finally Philadelphia gets their stick on that, sent it down ice.
And that's almost coughed up by Montreal. That would have been a 2-on-1 at least for the Flyers. And it is thrown out through center back into the Montreal zone. Suzuki spins away from Garnet Hathaway. Here's Demidov down the right side. Flyer territory. Thrown around the boards by Montreal. Up top, it's settled by Hudson. Down low, Suzuki. Over to Uri Slavkovsky. Up top, Hudson. Off to Suzuki. Over to Slavkovsky. Suzuki one-time drive. That's caught. And there's no rebound from Sam Ersson.
It's a sweet little play from Nick Suzuki as he gets it over to Uri Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky, I thought, was going to lean into it, but you could see Suzuki hit the brakes immediately. Called for it back. Puck comes right across the top of the slot area. And Suzuki gets into a one-timer. Probably doesn't hit the spot he's looking for. Gets it off quickly, just trying to beat Ersson with pace. But Ersson squares it up, makes a nice save. Face off in the Philadelphia zone.
Canadians win it. Second unit out with 34 seconds left to work with on the man advantage. Pass from Texier intended for Engstrom is picked off, and it's skated to center by Glendening. He'll move it in the rest of the way. Engstrom starts ahead, drops it off to Texier. Moves it off to Kapanen, and he'll roll it into the Flyer zone. Gathered by Engstrom at the line. Off to Bolduc. Back up high. Engstrom dishes off. Doc slips it right back through down the ice. Almost a breakaway out of the box, but Adam Engstrom will get back for it. We are back to 5-on-5 as that was Hunter McDonald coming back to the ice for Philadelphia. 13 to play in the third period. Habs down 3-2. Here's Gallagher through center. Delayed offside. Flyers have it in their own zone. Alex Bump weaving in to the Montreal end. Dishes off down low. Berkey tried to center. That's picked off and played to center by Evans. Flyers back on it. In they come with Bump. To the line. Offside. Delayed offside. So Flyers vacate the zone. And David Reinbacher from behind his own net. Passes over out to center. Here goes Demidov. Moves in far side. Tried to pass it off for Newhook. That's stolen away and played out into the protective netting by Philadelphia. 12-12 to go in the third. Another power play goes by the wayside for Montreal as they remain down 3-2 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Bell Pure Fiber Internet? It's fast, like really fast. And the offer? It's good, like really good.
Switch to Bell Pure Fiber, Canada's fastest internet, awarded by Ookla. Get 500 for $75 a month with autopay credit.
Fast internet, long ad, but so worth it.
Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell, connection is everything.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
Delmar, logistics made simple, transforming intricate logistics challenges into effortless experiences for clients across the globe. Visit DelmarCargo.com to connect with a Delmar expert today. Delmar, logistics made simple.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens, TSN 690.
12-12 to go in the third. Habs down 3-2 at the hands of the Philadelphia Flyers. Matvei Michkov has a point on all three Flyer goals. He scored one of them as well.
Well, the puck has certainly been chasing him around the ice, or as you might have said, he might be chasing it around the ice. When you have a couple of those milestones that you want to get to, it's an important number for Michkov. You know, he's a high-end, high-talent player, and he wants to get back to that 20-goal marker.
20 goals, now 51 points on the year for Michkov as well. As Hudson handles it in the Flyer zone. Little backhand try to the net from Caulfield is turned aside by Ersson. Caulfield up high in the slot. Passes off to Suzuki. Can't get it through Sealer, and it is poked to center by Michkov. Canadians come back in with it. Not very far. Forster cuts it off and throws it out to center. Habs in their own zone. Struble plays it down ice, right side for Lane Hudson. Through the middle is Slavkovsky. Tried to dish it over to Caulfield. Couldn't get the shot away. It's brought by bump to center ice. And he's slammed into the boards by Caulfield.
It's a golden opportunity for Caulfield to tie McKinnon with goal 52. Sweet little play that developed, and it was Slavkovsky knew exactly where he was going to go the whole time. And as it gets fed over to Caulfield down by the goal line, he just fans on it. It's something I've seen here in the last couple of minutes. Every time we see Caulfield out there, Canadians are trying to get him the puck.
Habs bobble it around in their own zone, but they will start the breakout to center. Demidov looking over to Texier, taken away by Emile Andre. He'll skate in behind his own net. Flyers up the far side to center. Back into Flyer territory for Andre. Hands it off to Noah Juleson. Now stripped away by Texier at center ice as the Canadians reload. Texier near side. Brought in over the Flyer blue line. Comes back to center for Jack-Eye. He'll pass it over to Adam Engstrom. And Engstrom is run into the boards by McDonald. Hunter McDonald plays it ahead for Tyson Forster. Comes back for Hunter McDonald. Flyers to center again. Noah Cates battles with Zach Bolduc. Cates will just fire it in right on net. That's stopped by Dobish. Habs down the other way. Kapanen moves in with a shot and a good glove save made by Sam Ersson.
Now, it was indeed a nice save, a nice glove save, but Ersson knew where that puck was going to end up because of the diving play by McDonald.
Now we got a big scrum in front here. Kirby Dach is tied up with McDonald. Forster's got a hold of Oliver Kapanen. And it looks like Kirby Dach here will be separated from McDonald, and ultimately cooler heads will prevail. No one wants to get hurt in game 82 as Oliver Kapanen almost tied this for Montreal. Instead, we'll go to break with it still 3-2 for Philly on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back.
Come on, boys.
And now it's time to take your shot. Face off against family and friends. And see if you can predict this year's playoffs. Can you pick the perfect bracket and claim the ultimate prize? A trip to a 2026-27 NHL event and an Adventure Chrono NHL Limited Edition watch by Norcane. Sign up today at nhl.com/bracket.
Whether it's gas, electric, or hybrid, Ford vehicles are always powered by pride. And just like the great teams that inspire us, we always strive for the highest honors. Our lineup is strong, agile, and built to perform. We give it our all to help you and your crew achieve great feats, experience great thrills, and competently drive to the next great adventure. Your local Ford dealers, proud partners of the Montreal Canadiens. Ready, set, Ford.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
Back at Xfinity Mobile Arena, we're going to go 4-on-4 with 9:41 left in the third, and the Flyers up 3-2. Hunter McDonald and Kirby Dach are both in the penalty box.
Yeah, Hunter McDonald, the great play prior to taking the penalty with Kirby Dach net front as he lays out. He takes away the bottom half of the net as Kapanen was coming in to fire that puck. So a beautiful glove save, but Erson got tipped off as to where that was going to go. Only one place it really could go. And then McDonald and Dach get into it net front. So we'll see Nick Suzuki come out and take this face-off. Suzuki's taken a boatload of them tonight for the Canadiens. This is him for number 22 on the night. Scrambles that, but the Canadiens end up winning it.
Here's Hudson at the line trying to get free of Noah Cates. He'll skate around up top. Hudson leaves it for Suzuki. Caulfield far side. Around for Suzuki. Reinbacher's out there as well as Hudson's got it up high. Trying to dance away from Forster. He's pushed out to center. Habs will reset. This pass from Hudson goes off the boards, and it's collected by Matvei Michkov. Flyers down ice. Here's Michkov through the neutral zone with Denver Barkey. Far side boards. Barkey controls. Able to wrench it over out in front. That's just out of the reach of Emil Andre as it's rolled to center. Andre will pass it back into the Flyer zone. Now Suzuki in hard on the forecheck.
That's a nice forecheck by Suzuki. Closes him down with speed, just gets his hands on him and pushes the defender up against the wall.
Denver Barkey skates out at center ice. 45 seconds left in 4-on-4 as Michkov has it. He'll dish it off to Emil Andre. Andre in his own end, back up to center. Noah Juleson. Passes off. And here goes Alex Bump through center. And on the left side, right in on Jack-Eye. He's able to strip the puck loose. Loose in front, bump shot, and he scores! Habs thought they had killed the play along the near side, but it stays loose in front, and Alex Bump has extended the deficit back to 2 for Montreal.
Now this comes back to Juraj Slafkovsky, who had control of this puck. He loses the handle on it, thinks he's going to take it behind the net, but ends up leaving it right in the slot area. There's a great degree of frustration on his face as he's looking up at the scoreboard right now, and Canadians just can't seem to get a handle on it, and it does make its way back to Bump, who lets a shot fly, and he beats Dobesh high over the glove side. That shot was masked as it came off of his stick. Either way, Bump gets his 5th goal of the season in only his 17th game.
And that should be another assist for Porter Martone. So a 2-point game for Martone. And Alex Bump has his 5th of the year. Scored in his debut this season on March 7th against the arch nemesis of the Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it was a good way to endear yourself to the hometown crowd. 4-on-4 goal as McDonald and Doc both step back to the ice. We're 5-on-5 again. Flyers lead 4-2 with 7:37 left in this third period of play. Loose at center ice. Carl Grundstrom fires it in. So they do give Porter Martone the assist. That goal comes right at 12 minutes of the third period as the Habs have it behind their own net. Adam Engstrom. All the way up to center ice. Flyers send it right back into the Habs zone. Guglio over to Engstrom again. And Adam Engstrom skates it to center. Up the left side for Veleno. Stripped of the puck here. And Philly able to move it to center. Habs forced to shoot it in. Gathered behind the Flyer net by David Jiricek. Jiricek stretches to the neutral zone. Alex Bump chasing after it, but it is directed around the net to safety by Dobish, right for Gallagher. Canadians on it behind their own net now. Hudson. He needs just one assist tonight to break the record for single-season assists by a Habs D-man. Still tied with Larry Robinson at 66 as they battle for it behind the Flyer net. Evans chops it to the line. Hudson down to the corner for Evans. Floats up the wing for Porter Marchand. He's just going to loft it out through center ice. Rolling toward Dobish. Here come the Canadians to center. Moving in, Zach Bolduc. Far side wing. Just tosses it wide of the net.
Nifty hands coming in across the blue line for Bolduc, but not the best shot on net following that.
Puck rolls out to center. Adam Engstrom collects it. Over to Zach Bolduc. Right side, Kapanen under pressure from Hunter McDonald. Flyers lob it to the line. Can't get it out. Here's Kirby Dach, far side. Dach gets pushed off the puck. And Flyers elevate it back down ice. It's gathered by Arbor Jacki. And take it away at center by Luke Glendening. Flyers come back in on the attack. This is taken away, though, by Lane Hudson. And out to center goes Jacki. He's going to fire it in. Puck rattles around right for Hathaway. Stepped on it, fell down. Gets back up, though, and here go the Flyers to center. Puck rolls away. Goulet moves it right back in off his stick. And Noah Juleson will play it ahead to center ice with 4:45 to go in the third. 4-2 Flyers lead. Canadians back in on the forecheck. Top line is out there, and that's Denver Barkey who lost his stick. Here's Caulfield far side with a drive. That's stopped in front.
The Canadians got away with a high stick, no question on that play.
Flyers back to center. Moving in as Alex Bump tried to toe drag Lane Hudson. That's knocked away. And Hudson stretches down the far side. Great feed for Texier. Now Jiricek has broken his stick on Texier as it goes over for David Reinbacher. Throws that wide of the net. Comes around for Texier. Down low to Slafkovsky. Now Nick Suzuki. Into the corner for Slafkovsky. Floats all the way up high and then shoots it wide of the net. Dan Ersson will cover up at the side as Jiricek and Texier going at it a little bit here. Bit of a slash and a push, and those two will be broken up behind the Flyer net.
Well, it's quite a scuffle in front of the net, but nothing much is going to come of this as the Canadiens come up short.
Time running out on Montreal now. Game 82 of the regular season. 3:48 to go. Flyers ahead 4-2 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Craving great food, big games, and an unbeatable atmosphere? Head to La Cage. Whether you're here for the wings or the wins, or to have a good time, one thing's for sure. At La Cage, everyone's a fan.
I've always wondered what kind of tires they put on the Zamboni.
I bet they're not summer tires.
Maybe all season?
I doubt it.
Yeah, good point.
Point S, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Jeez, feels like the Habs are always on the road.
I hope they have good tires.
They fly.
Yeah, good point.
Point S. Until June 30th, get $100 on a prepaid card when you buy 4 eligible Hankook tires. Details at points.ca.
$1 wings, $1 wings, $1 wings. Boston Pizza has the ultimate lineup. During every Montreal game this season, our wings are only $1 each at Boston Pizza. Come in for some delicious wings, an ice-cold Molson, and a great game. Now that's a winning trio. Visit bostonpizza.com to find a Boston Pizza near you and reserve your table. Boston Pizza is the place to be. See details in restaurant. Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee. Made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
3:48 to go in the third period at Xfinity Mobile Arena. And the Canadiens need to find a way back into this game quick, JP. Down by 2. Cole Caulfield had a glorious opportunity to shave that deficit down to 1 as he's tied a career high with 10 shots in a single game.
You know, there's sequences when you feel something big coming up, and that was exactly what I had seen with Cole Caulfield as he finds a way out to the flank, gets himself in position, and he's ready for that one time. You're just expecting at that point to see the twine bulge behind Urson. Not the case. The Canadiens are going to make the move right away with a pulled goaltender. 3:48 left to go. They're going to try their hand on an empty net.
Here's Hudson at the line, right off the draw. Habs down low. Slavkovsky curls it over to Demidov. Up top again, Hudson. Far side for Caulfield. Back to Hudson. Caulfield again. Hudson at the line for Caulfield. Down to Suzuki. Switching with Caulfield. Here's Hudson. Over to Slavkovsky. One-time try. Another block for Nick Seeler. Now Demidov down low. Back to Suzuki. Suzuki, far side hash marks. Across. Out in front. Slavkovsky tried to set it up for Caulfield. That was tipped just wide. Slavkovsky with a bullet over for Nick Suzuki. Down to Caulfield. Looking through for Hudson. That gets tipped away and out to center ice.
The lane was there. It was just a little bit of a tip. Canadians not able to get it under control. Slips out in the neutral zone.
And Flyers clear it again into Hab territory. 6 on 5, 2:45 to go.
This is going to allow Philadelphia to get the rest of the players off and new bodies on.
Habs play it around and get set up. Demidov right wing. Throws it back for Hudson. Far side, Suzuki with a try. That goes wide, and it's going to go all the way back down the ice off the boards. Hudson quickly reloads. Slavkovsky at center. Finds Hudson far side. He'll skate it into the Flyers zone. Stripped of it, though, by Oliver Bonk. And Bonk throws a bit of a hit as they battle for it here. A big pile up far side boards. Bonk and Hudson going at it. As the Habs play it in behind the net, Suzuki gets over to it, tried to center, bounces around. Caulfield couldn't settle it, opts to pass it off to Slavkovsky. Caulfield, far side, down low to Suzuki, side of the net. Caulfield looking through for Hudson. That's tipped by his stick, and it goes over the glass and out of play.
You got to give Philadelphia credit here. They're shutting lanes down. Canadians doing a good job trying to attract everybody to the middle of the ice, trying to pull everybody out of position, but all the lanes are blocked as that puck again tries to get fed back through the high slot to Demidov, and it's a tip puck up into the stands.
That'll leave 1:46 to play. And the Canadians are going to take their timeout. Good thing they did, because Caulfield, Demidov, and Hudson had all been on the ice for 2:02, and Slavkovsky and Suzuki had been on the ice for over 3 minutes.
Yeah, as that puck got fed up the left board right by the Canadians bench to Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson definitely looked like he was dragging a little bit, looking a little bit tired towards the end of this game, but when you realize he's been out on the ice for the better part of 2 minutes, you can understand why. Interesting to see the youngsters out there for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Bonk was out there, got into it with Hudson, got into a little bit of a stick swing with him.
It's been a good NHL debut for Oliver Bonk with a goal and an assist tonight.
Well, if Philadelphia end up hanging on to this game, you'd fully expect to see him walking out of the tunnel as one of the stars this evening. Porter Martone as well. Canadians looking to change those plans for the Flyers.
So Alex Newhook is going to be out here to take the face-off. Blocker side on Sam Ersson. Battle for it off the draw. It's won by Montreal, then given away. Forced out to center, and Slavkovsky's offside here as he touches it. This might come all the way back.
Well, it should. Yeah, it should. Slavkovsky blind fires that puck up the wall, and it goes to Forster, tries to chip it past Hudson. Hudson does a good job of just knocking that puck out of the air. That saves the game. And I felt for sure that this puck was going to come back into the Montreal Canadiens zone. I think they're going to get a bit of a break here as it'll just come out to the neutral zone, just outside the Philadelphia bench.
Newhook is in for the draw again. Of course, no Deneau tonight for Montreal, so you don't have that luxury as they're resting him. But Newhook wins this, and it's hammered in from center by Lane Hudson. Has work it down low. Deep in the Flyer zone, down 4-2. Here's Hudson with a shot for the line. That's tipped and blockered away by Ersson. Now Suzuki behind the net. Plays it around near side. That gets away, but it is held in at the line by Demidov. Far side, Caulfield plays it through. There's a shot from Newhook. That's absorbed by Ersson, and he'll hang on tight.
There's out the bumper is 4. Everybody gets a little bit scrambly, and it does make its way out to Newhook in the bumper area. It just gives him a little bit of space. There was 2 options there. Newhook could have called his own number, which he did, or he also had Demidov collapsing down from the right point looking for the one-timer. Newhook takes that shot himself. Ersson makes the save.
Newhook in for the draw, wins it again. Habs far side, under pressure, loose puck. Sealer over to it with Suzuki. Newhook in there to pick it up. Final minute of play. Here's Demidov right side. Up high for Hudson. Far side shot incoming from Cole Caulfield. That's wired wide of the net and all the way off the boards down the ice. 40 seconds to play. Hudson goes down. Try at the empty net. That's stopped. And the Habs, with 30 seconds, still down by 2, motor their way to center. Slavkovsky lost it. Fired back toward Hudson. He'll block it. Looking at a 5-minute shift here for Juraj Slavkovsky at the moment.
Yeah, Hudson just went to the bench.
Engstrom is on for Montreal. He's got the puck now. 14 seconds to play. Right in over the line. Engstrom lost an edge of the Flyer zone. Move it in behind the net. Sealer plays it around. Slavkovsky, who has played a 5-minute shift here for Montreal, just throws it into the corner, and that is it. Game number 82 in the books. Montreal had a chance to win it to give themselves a chance for home ice in round 1 of the playoffs, but we know for sure now as the Flyers win 4-2 that the first round for the Montreal Canadiens will begin in Florida against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, it'll be the first couple of games down in Florida. No question that Rick Tocchet and his Philadelphia Flyers team, after clinching last night and having a completely different look in the lineup, will be happy with the way that they closed out their season at Xfinity Arena.
Time now for the play of the game, brought to you by Tim Hortons, official partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Both tied up along the end boards. Puck comes loose. Left side out in front for Cates. Couldn't corral it. Bouncing in front, they score! And it's Matvei Michkov who gets his 20th of the year, and it's 3-1 for Philadelphia. Matvei Michkov with your eventual game winner tonight, midway through the second period of play. It's time now for the Molson Export. 3 stars of the game. Third star for the Flyers with 1 goal, 1 assist in his NHL debut, Oliver Bach. Second star with a pair of points as well, 1 goal, 1 assist, Porter Marchone. And your first star tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers with 3